Good morning, Raptorsfreak. Alexiats here on a Friday morning after another win against Charlotte. We're on a 3-game winning streak now, the first of the season. This is fantastic. We've been wanting this for a while, and we finally got it. And I feel good. I feel like the team has turned the corner. That we've gone through the halfway point of the season, and now this second half of the season, we're set up to do a lot of good things and hopefully win a lot. The team's in the right headspace. They're in a really good place of sharing. It's really great how they weathered the storm of turmoil and losing and stuck together and stayed positive, because that's how it gets worse and worse for teams. Honestly, the bad stuff can happen and it just spirals out of control, and then they turn on each other. Then people have agendas, and then all of a sudden they're not playing together, and it's even harder to try and get back to the place that they're at right now. Well, that has been not the case. They have done a very good job of staying together, not having any trouble, and now they are ready to take off and do good things going forward from now. Last night was interesting compared to the first game against Charlotte because they played much better defense and they even played much better offense. I really enjoyed the game last night. We saw right at the beginning of the game, OG Anunoby go down and get a very high percentage low post up. And that is just sickening to me, like perfect, Nick. That is the way you have a shaky start in a recent game against Milwaukee Bucks where you can't score for the first 8 minutes of the game. Just get that insurance basket right away, right at the beginning of the game. OG, very, very easy shot, nailed it. And this isn't the first time he's done that to open the game recently. It's either like him or Pascal or Scottie gets a low post shot to start the game. And this is like the second time in recent games that OG has been the guy who hits the first shot. Second shot, Gary Trent, nice open shot just inside the 3-point line for an easy bucket. And, they were just great all around. I love the way that they're sharing the ball right now. I love the pick and rolls. Oh, my gosh. We've been calling out for pick and rolls for 2 years now. And now we're finally getting to see pick and roll action. And it's super, super successful, especially with somebody like Scottie Barnes out there. We saw Scottie dunk the ball a lot yesterday, and I am here for it. I am so here for it. They asked him, Scottie, you're not shooting as many threes right now. Is there something wrong with your 3-point shot after the game? He said, no, I'm just taking what's there. And right now, I want to get closer shots. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy having strength and power and utilizing it in the game now. And that's really what he's doing. He's throwing his weight around. He's a strong young man, and he's initiating and showing it on the court. And we're seeing such fantastic like putback dunks. It's like you want to make sure that ball goes through, Scott. You just throw it down on them. That's what you're doing. You're throwing it down, and it's so fun to watch. Like him, I swear he had like 5 dunks last night, and I love that so much. Oh my gosh! I'll do the 3 stars real quick. Might as well. I'm already alluding to them to a degree. Number 1 star is Pascal Siakam last night, 35 points, extremely efficient. Pascal Siakam, only 13 shots, and he made 35 points. People are like, how do you do that? Well, you do it in a couple different ways. You get to the line a lot, you make 10 to 12 free throws, and then you make all 3 of your 3-point shots to get those extra 3 points. And then, boom, you only missed 2 shots overall. You're 11 for 13 for the night, 35 points. That is such an efficient game by Siakam. And what I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why it's so efficient is because he's not doing it in ISO. In fact, we saw Siakam on the receiving end of some really nice passes from him cutting off the ball. And we don't see that very often with Siakam. Very much blunt, straight ahead, kind of like go at you, like one-on-one isolation kind of scoring from him. But when he's off the ball and he's moving without the ball and he's cutting like a Juancho would, going to the basket, look out. He can get easier baskets that way. So Siakam, in some ways, you've learned some things last night that we want to go even more in that direction. That if we can make it easier for you to be more efficient and be just better by playing with your teammates and off your teammates, boom, let's keep going with this. Because you had maybe the most efficient game of scoring in your entire career last night. 11 of 13. I can't say that enough. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, a +6, 35 points. Siakam, you are an all-star. you are a top 5 NBA player in my book, and you are an all-round Scottie Pippen kind of player that can do it all on the court, and you are an exemplary defender also. So I want to give you all of your kudos today, Mr. Siakam, because you are a badass. And that's the only way you can describe him. Second star, Scottie Barnes, showing dominance, 21 points, 8 of 14 from the field. This man's not missing either. 5 of 6 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 blocks, plus 15, the highest plus minus on our team last night, Scottie Barnes. Like I said, this is the thing. Scottie's interview was very interesting after the game last night because he did a lot of X's and O's kind of talking about his decision making on the court and the difference between some of the things he was doing maybe a month ago and the difference between now. And it really is that he's being very much utilized in that pick and roll scheme last night was so fantastic. And just they really made for it because he's a great passer himself. If he's doing a pick and roll with Freddie, that's a really good passers involved, and they'll make good stuff happen. And just all around great stuff. The other thing that Scottie said in his interview yesterday that I really like is he is playing the big man, and he likes the challenge. He says, like he said, he's a strong guy. I'm a strong guy with some muscle. I like mixing it up with the bigger guys on the other team, and that he's very much into playing defensive center and having that responsibility. The thing that him and Christian have to learn is when to drop back and watch out for the back door with the big man. And that he's realizing that more and more, and he's learning it. In fact, we saw at times in the game last night, people calling out to watch out for each other on defense. And that is so important. The communication on defense and the communication on offense is very strong with the Raptors right now. And it's doing really well. They had way better defense against Charlotte last night than in the first game against them on Tuesday. They were doing a better job of controlling them. Their scoring was a little bit more down. They were still scoring a lot, but at least we were having better defensive outcomes overall in the game last night. So we saw an improvement from Tuesday to Thursday. It wasn't that the Charlotte Hornets went back to the drawing board, figured out some stuff, and kind of like made some more problems for us. No, we improved on how we played them from Tuesday and made it even easier and better for us to win. And I love it. People that are poo-pooing, oh, it's just the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, whatever. You guys shouldn't be happy about this. Fuck you. You're a part of the problem too. And it's like Michael Grange has an article out there saying, oh, yeah, feel real good about winning 3 games, but don't get carried away. Fuck you, Michael Grange. We've had a tough season. We're going to enjoy every bit of positive and victories, and we have. And I believe in them. I don't care who it is. See, you don't understand, Grange. Listen, when we get it figured out, against a lesser team, we can do this against the bigger teams too, because we have a very good talent team. We have the same damn team we had last year that went and fucked up all the top teams in the NBA. So anybody who thinks that the Raptors are pretenders right now just because they beat Charlotte twice in a row, you're crazy. Because now that we figured it out, this can all be applied to every single team in this league, whether it's Boston, whether it's Denver. I don't care who the fuck it is. We're going to beat them now because we have a chance. We're playing together. We're shooting better. And we are that team. Trust me. When we show up, when we go to Milwaukee, and next week, we're going to fuck them up. Watch, because we're on our way, because we figured some stuff out. So y'all go ahead and think, oh, this is just fool's gold. This is just, easy wins against a crappy team. Well, you go ahead and make that mistake, because you're going to find out real quick the Raptors are back and we're for real. And I'll put my money on my word right now saying this. I'll be ahead of the curve. I'm not going to go and test that water and say, ooh, it's a little too cold. No, I'm going to test it. I'm going to dive right in on this opinion and say, yeah, we're back, baby. And y'all are on notice. We're coming for y'all. New York, Milwaukee, all y'all teams that are coming up soon. We're going to beat your ass because we figured it out. We got good feelings and we're sharing the ball now. So come on. Look, like The Rock says, just bring it. My third star for the game last night, I was going to pick OG, but you know what? I'm overlooking something about Precious last night. Precious got 5 steals. Between OG and Precious, there were 9 steals, 4 by OG, 5 by Precious. Precious played 18 minutes. He scored 10 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 5 steals. He was a -1, but he was 10 points off the bench. So I'm going to give the third star to Precious just purely for the 5 steals, the aggressiveness, what he's bringing to the team right now is an intangible quality. He's also bringing the quality of the bench up because of his talent and the way he can play. This allows Nick to continue this rotation where none of the starters are getting over 40 minutes. And just, it's really, really good. I am so proud of you, Nick. Like watching the rotations right now and the way you are playing the guys is perfect. I was a little worried in the third because it seemed like you were waiting to bring in the bench guys and you were riding the starters a little too long into the third quarter, but otherwise pretty good. And I know that in the second, when we had the bench unit out there, there was a little bit of panic as far as like we weren't doing as well with the bench as we have recently, but you weathered through it. And you know what? You really are being smart because you're mixing and matching, like I said. You're leaving Gary and Pascal out there with three of the bench guys. You're never leaving them too stranded with no offensive outlet. That there's always at least OG, Pascal, Gary, or somebody like that out there from the starting lineup to pick up the pieces and make a basket if things are really getting to the end of the shot clock and none of these guys from the bench are finding their shot. But the thing is with Precious, he really is like a starter also. He's like a sixth starter. So in some ways, he makes it better and easier for Nick to really, trust the bench and be able to be out there and play. And he is playing more. You see him out there without Chris. So he's not just absolutely tethered to Chris as far as how much Boucher's playing. So a really, really good job once again, Nick. 3 games in a row you won, and 3 games in a row you've done perfect kind of rotations and distributing the minutes so that you're not overplaying those guys. And it's like they asked Scottie after the game, he said, do you feel better now that you're playing a little bit less minutes because the bench is playing more? And Scottie said, I can't talk for anybody else. I feel good anyway. Now, see, Scottie's different because he's young. He doesn't get as tired. But with concerns with guys like Fred and Pascal, who are older and in the league for a while, more wear and tear on their bodies, this is something that we really do have to think about and put a cap on. I think, Nick, if you see the minutes leaders in the NBA and you see 3 Raptors in the top 4 still, that you're still overdoing it and that you need to let their numbers fall a little bit so that they're not near the top of the minutes leaders in the NBA. That if you can really overcompensate that way, it may save them some because once again, you're seeing the fruits of it. Fred hits a huge clutch shot at the end of the game for a 3 to really put the dagger in the game. Fred doesn't do a whole lot for the whole game, but he's very efficient. He's not overshooting and missing a lot of shots, but he's tempering himself. He's not overextending himself and going all out. And he had a really good game himself. But it's not the production that's normal for me to put him in one of the 3 stars. I could honestly put Gary, Fred, OG in the 3 stars, as well as the other 3 guys that I did, Pascal, Scottie, and Precious, because they all had very big contributions to the game last night also. And people, listen, it's true. People just want to hate Fred. He can't win with y'all. It's like so stupid. They're criticizing him for just not scoring that much last night. But you know what? He played within himself, within the game, and he helped to contribute to the win in a very efficient way. So you can't be mad at Fred. 4 of 8 from the field. He shot 50%. He had 5 rebounds, 8 assists. So he was really being a playmaker. Plus 5, 11 points. I know that, you'll see the 11 points, but he can't win with y'all. Y'all complain that he shoots too much and misses too much and he's a ball hog. And then when he doesn't step up and does ball hog things instead of facilitator, y'all complain that he doesn't do enough. He can't win with y'all Fred haters. So shut the fuck up. I hate you. I double down on hating you guys. Yeah, because you guys are wrong. He can't do anything right in your eyes. You're always going to point to the other side of whatever he did and say, he didn't score enough this time. He's scoring too much. He's never going to be good enough for you Fred haters. So fuck you. I hate you. Yes. All right, let me go and look and see what you guys are saying in the comments. Nameless is here first. Big dubs all around, baby. Let the 7-game win streak begin. Ooh, I love it. And he's got the Canadian maple syrup oil drum. And yes, this was a big part of last night. Keeping that double-digit layer of thick 100% Canadian maple syrup in the lead. And that was something that we were able to do wire to wire last night. We jumped out and got the first basket. They tied us and made a basket. It was 2-2. Well, that was the only time it was tied for the rest of the game. We jumped out all over them after that, 13-5. And then, boom, gangbusters running pretty much a double-digit lead most of the game. fluctuating between 7-point lead, 10-point lead, 12-point lead, all over that place. But for the whole game, they never came back. They never overtook us, and we handled them pretty good. And I love that. I love that so much. And yes, let's streak, baby. Atlanta, you're next. Goldberg says, who's next? We're saying Atlanta's next. You're right. Come on up here, Atlanta Hawks, and come see our beautiful blanket of white snow outside and come and get dealt with by the Raptors. We're taking you down tomorrow. That's right. You come bring it, Atlanta. We're going to mess you up. Yeah. All right. Duke Rocks is here to talk about the passing of Jeff Beck this week. And I want to read this. This is really important. This channel is all about all kinds of different stuff. And there are interests in music and wrestling and different kind of areas, politics. And we will talk about this. Duke saying, after processing the shock of Jeff Beck's passing, I thought I should try and explain why Jeff Beck was more than just a legend and why he was so special as a guitar player. There are many great guitar virtuosos that have inspired and captivated us with their abilities and imagination. Jeff had a guitar playing style that could not be copied. He created sounds and textures that left fans and even great guitar players wondering, how does he do it? The magic of Jeff was in his hands and the whammy bar on his Stratocaster. He had the ability to mimic sounds and voicings with the whammy bar never heard before. He could make the guitar sound like lead female Indian vocalists. The ability to mimic any sound with the guitar drove his creativity to heights never seen before in the guitar playing world. He was as special as they come, and he is considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of any era. Rest in peace, Jeff Beck. You'll be sadly missed and never forgotten. Yeah, I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, he was so integral in a lot of musicians' early careers. Like I said yesterday, Rod Stewart, Ron Wood, both coming out and really giving a lot of credit to Jeff Beck and helping them blow up and becoming who they are. In the last year, what I'd seen Jeff Beck in his output when I'm doing my work on Fridays, as I'll do later this afternoon, watching all the music videos of the week, I've seen him pop up in very interesting places. He was a part of Ozzy Osbourne's latest album, playing a lot of guitar on that album. And then, the other thing that I saw him doing in the last year that was interesting was he was a part of Johnny Depp's house band. And then when Johnny Depp went through this whole court proceeding with Amber Heard, he did a lot of shows afterwards when he was vindicated. And Jeff Beck was right there on his right hand, playing in his shows and playing the guitar, exactly like what Duke Rocks is saying. He had that ability with the whammy to make the guitar have a voice. And in some ways, in some of the songs with Johnny Depp, it's like a conversation between Johnny Depp and Jeff Beck's guitar. And I love that. There's so many things I love about Jeff Beck. To me, one of the things that stands out the most to me is when he did the "People Get Ready" video, and he's on the train and he's playing that guitar. Oh man, just a great blues guitarist, just all around great guitarist. And I'm getting choked up talking about him. I don't want to talk about him too much, but yeah, rest in peace, Jeff Beck, a real one of the greatest guitarists of all time, always will be, hugely influential and important. Yeah. All right. Monique's here. Good morning, everyone. Gone streaking. Now talk to us. Nice NBA all-around great game. Pascal is him. Nurse using the bench nicely. Fred with the corner three. He was ready. Love how Nick is utilizing Gary. The thing with Fred in that corner was amazing. It was like they almost had that all set up for him to go get that for sure. And I just really love that he got that little cherry on top at the end of the game, because look, in some ways he was disappearing in the game last night because there was so much the forefront, Scottie, Precious, Pascal, OG with some of the stuff he was doing, that Fred was kind of being an afterthought and kind of like, well, you need to remind them that you're an important part of winning also. And that in some ways he is the guy who should be getting that dagger at the end. I mean, they kind of forgot about him. He just kind of hid in the corner, and then boom, of course he's going to hit that shot. And I really love seeing Fred get that dot, that last big dagger. Let's see. Monique is also saying 3 stars of the game for her are Pascal, Scottie, OG. But seriously, it could be anyone if you ask me. 905 win, 105 to 99. Hello, Reggie Perry, 34-8. Great interview with KOLOKO for Yahoo. Congratulations, Fred, on third baby. All right, Monique, once again, the Q card giving me a lot of information in the comment. I love it. Thank you, Monique. Your 3 stars are Pascal, Scottie, and OG. See, I had OG originally, but I was thinking about it. It's like, you know what? Precious got 5 steals. OG got 4. And I was also thinking, Precious was out there for 20 minutes less than OG. OG was out there for 38, and Precious only played for 18. So I want to give Precious his shine, especially if he's just being so amazingly good and so aggressive. He's just got such a style to him, the way he plays. All right, as far as the 905, let's go over the 905 game. Both Raptors teams won yesterday. Thank goodness. Good job, Raptors 905, beating up Motor City Cruise 105-99. My 3 stars for that game are Reggie Perry. Yes, 34 points. His second game over 30 points. 10 of 15 from the field, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, a +8. Now, I want to tell y'all, there's an All-Star game for the G League that's going to be in Utah at the same time as the NBA All-Star weekend. And we can get some of our 905 guys on that G League All-Star team. Specifically, Reggie Perry should very much be playing in that game, and maybe Delano Banton also. So let's vote, just like we're voting for the NBA All-Stars for Pascal and the guys. Let's vote for those G League All-Stars also when voting opens up for that very soon. I'm not sure exactly when it opens up, but we'll pay attention and we'll let you guys know when we can vote for our 905 All-Stars. Our second star for last night, to me, is Gabe Brown. He returned to his home state of Michigan and put on a show last night in 33 minutes, 7 of 14, 500 from the field. I love that 50%. 4 of 8 from the 3, 2 of 2 at the line, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 points, +6 for Gabe Brown in a return to his home state of Michigan. And then the third star, off the bench, we saw the Hawk rise in the game last night. Ryan Hawkins, 22 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point range, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 11 points for Ryan Hawkins off the bench. I just really like to see him having a good, solid game, especially hitting those 3 3-pointers. Big stuff to help them have a lead over the Motor City Cruise off the bench, Ryan Hawkins. Other players to note in that game, Delano and Ron Harper both had a pretty bad shooting game. Together, they were 4 of 20 from the field, 12 points together. They had a good plus-minus, and Delano was kind of flirting with the triple-double. He had 10 rebounds. He only had 8 assists, but only 5 points. So it was like, damn, Delano, if you can make that triple-double at the end, I'll put you in one of my 3 stars. But alas, he could not. And Ron, I don't like seeing that he's 1 for 6 from three-point range, 2 of 12 overall. But he was a +10, and he did contribute in rebounds. 7 rebounds, 7 points. Kenny Wooten, just 2 points starting. David Johnson, 3 points off the bench. 7 points for Epps. 12 points for Morsel and Gravette, 4 points. Motor City Cruise best player was Kakak with 28 points and Umud with 26. But good win by the Raptors 905. They're 3-4 now. Continue to improve that record, please, Raptors 905. And they're playing again tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Sunday, against the Sioux Falls Skyforce, the G League affiliate of the Miami Heat, who have just acquired a new player. That's right. Justin Champagnie picked up yesterday by the Miami Heat organization on their G League team. And we will play them on Sunday. So Justin will be getting his first chance to get a revenge against our franchise for cutting him and waiving him on Sunday afternoon. So that should be very, very fun, interesting game to watch. So watch that 9:05 game on Sunday against the Sioux Falls Skyforce. They have Justin Champagnie on the other side. So it would be fun to see that friendship of Delano Banton versus Justin Champagnie going at each other. Maybe it'd be some really fun shit talk and very interesting get up for the game kind of stuff going on between them. So Justin is on the dark side now. And let's hope that he isn't one of these former Raptor guys who comes back and just absolutely tries to destroy us all the time. I have a feeling he will be, but hopefully he won't be as successful as he wants to be as far as destroying us. And all All right, continuing with Monique's thing, that interview with Christian KOLOKO and Amit Man, very, very interesting, very good. There was some fun stuff in there. In particular, I enjoyed hearing about how KOLOKO will not wear goggles ever again in his career because they bust up his nose. When he gets hit and he's wearing the goggles, it like cuts into his nose and his ears, and he doesn't like that. And I don't think he liked wearing the goggles anyway. He's a contacts guy, much like OG Anunoby. These guys wear contacts. And he's not going to ever be wearing the goggles in the NBA. So don't hold your breath, goggles fans. KOLOKO will not be wearing them. But that's a good interview once again with Christian KOLOKO and Amit Man. He tells him that he's the plus leader for the team. And KOLOKO's like, really? Wow, you need to tell them. And then finally, confirmation from Fred at the hospital this week in Scarborough that his wife is pregnant with their third child. That he said it. He said, yes, the third one's on the way. So that is very much, we knew this for a couple months, but he has made it very much official. At this point, Fred is expecting his third child at any time in the next month or so. So we're going to see the third Van Vliet child coming. And hopefully Fred, this is what the thing, y'all need to remember what happened when Fred Van Vliet Jr. was born. That guy went crazy in the playoffs and played in a crazy level. You got to remember that this baby high is a crazy thing in the NBA. If Otto Porter Jr. hadn't been so banged up at the beginning of the year when he had his baby, we might have seen him go on some sort of crazy tear, just feeling good from being a dad again. And I think that's going to happen with Fred, that we've had such a bad first half of the season for Fred. People are maligning him, slandering him and stuff. Well, that baby uptick, it may be coming. And when it comes, everybody's going to shut the fuck up about Fred. I'm going to tell you right now, because if he feels as good as he felt when Fred Van Vliet Jr. came, with this baby coming soon, he's going to go on a tear for the rest of the season. Look out. Fred Van Vliet is going to be somebody you're going to want to have on your fantasy team, or just somebody you're going to want to bet on, because listen, those good feelings from having a successful birth and a beautiful, healthy baby, woo, they can make you feel real good with your shot. And that might be what happens very, very soon. So I wish Fred and Shantae all the best health outcomes and everything good with this pregnancy and this birth. And then when it happens, watch and let's see what Fred does on the court. Watch. Seriously, watch. Monique saying Fred's slowly shutting up every negative comment, fans. Let's go, boys. Support the Van Vliets. That's right. We are Fred stands here. We are with Fred. We want Fred to be a Raptor for life. Ooh, does that make you feel awful, Fred haters? That the Raptor freak loves Fred and he wants him to be a Raptor for life? You know why? Because last night we saw Fred can change his role to fit whatever it takes to win, baby, because that's all he cares about. He doesn't give a shit about his stats. He just wants this team to win. So if he's going to take a back seat, hit a big three at the end of the game, and that's it, that's fine. What did he do during the game last night? He managed it. He did nice little moves when he needed to. He did a little dribble and went over the side of the free throw lane, and boom, hit a nice little popper, made a little room for himself. Maybe at one point he's like, oh, I need to go around this guy and make a little layup using my thickness, my size, keep him off me. He can jump higher, Dennis Smith, but boom, I'll keep him away, and boom, I'll just lay it up over him. Very measured, very smart, very effective. Very effective. Him and Pascal, very effective. Not high volume usage and not making a lot of shots, but taking a limited amount of shots and making most of them. And I like that. I like efficiency. And that is what's going on with Pascal and Fred right now. They're way more efficient than ever. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And Fred can take a backseat, score 11 points, and have a really good game, guys. 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Come on. 11 points. That's a good game. Everybody who thinks that Fred had a bad game last night, you can shut up because you're wrong. He had a very good game last night. That's right. Nameless is saying, and Masai likes Wemby enough. Please believe we have the assets to pry that first overall pick from anybody. That's what I'm saying. You can get to the number one pick in different ways. You don't even have to be the worst team in the league if you're smart and you have Masai Ujiri. I like the way you're thinking, Nameless. But yeah, he did say something publicly about Wemby this week. And he went and looked at him. They caught Masai Ujiri in the gym watching Victor Wembanyama play this week. So a lot of buzz about that. Masai Ujiri's in the house watching Victor. All right, let's see. Nameless is also saying, imagine the next generation of our core as Wemby, Barnes, and KOLOKO. I don't care what or who we give up for that, really. I do in a way. I do because I don't want to give up a whole lot. In fact, this is the thing. Some of the smarter basketball Raptors analysts are starting to come around with what we're kind of saying here for a week or so, as far as like, what if we just stand pat? Like, what if the chicken littling and the alarm raising that, oh, the Raptors aren't that good, we're in trouble, we need to make a trade, we need to make a moves, is folly? What if that is the worst thing we could do? That we have this core and it does really work well together. It's just it wasn't functioning for a good part of the season already, but it's back. It's back. And listen, these guys do play really well together, and the collection of talent and the bought in with each other, it is all going to be more and more of an aggregate of good stuff as time goes on and they have more time together. It's just like any NBA team. Tatum and Brown and those guys play together for 6-7 years. Boom, they play better. And in some ways, I don't want to blow this core up. This core is good. It's just we had a little bit of stumbling blocks recently, partly because of injuries. So it's like I want to just thumb my nose to everybody who wants us to make a trade and blow this team up and just fucking stay the course. And a lot of the experts are starting to come around on this. Maybe they should try and keep Gary and Fred and put them on contract and give this core a real good chance to try and do it. I'm with them. I'm with them on this. I think that these dudes really do enjoy playing with each other and that they do have a lot of accrued good things starting to build between them. And if you keep switching different people in and out, too many of them, you lose that, and you want to keep that building up. Like the chemistry between Pascal and Fred is for how long now? Like 7 years, something like that. OG, another six years with them. You know, that's the thing. This is accrued time together that makes them really good teammates because they know each other so well. And we want to continue to do that. I think that once again, the NBA used to be a place where teams kept their cores together for a decade or like 8 years, and they would really play together a lot. And that it's only been in the last 20 years that the NBA has been so switching superstars this way and that way and very changing all the time. That in some ways, being old school and doing it the old school way by keeping a team together for as long as possible, well, you turn into the Golden State Warriors. And that's what I'm saying. We want to be more like the Golden State Warriors than the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks, like, they change their team like they change their underwear. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep too strong to what we're doing because it's working. First of all, it's not that it's not working. It's not that it's broken. It's not that anybody hates each other and there's dysfunction on the team. There's just that we've been unhealthy and we haven't had everybody together, and we hit a rough patch. We hit some of the toughest parts of our season already, and it's all added up to where we are with our record right now. But it's not indicative of who we are. And in fact, we start winning at a major clip going for the rest of the season. It can be very similar to last year. So yeah, strap in and get ready. We're gonna start winning again, y'all. And let's get in. Get in. No questions. Just get in. Let's go. Yes. Yes. Because I need to find my phone because, of course, you know, we need to call Nick. But I'll wait until you guys want me to call him. I'll just see real quick. But yeah, I'm not really big on making a lot of changes just to get Wemby. Wemby may not be the big end all be all answer to everything in a lot of ways. Monique saying, hope to see you in the Raptors tonight live stream one day, Lex. Been so lively lately. Bring on the Hawks, 4 straight. We can definitely do it. Obviously, it's the Hawks. Yeah, I'm not going to be there, though, because I don't want to rip them off. I got my own takes. And if I listen to Randy and them talk at night, I might feed into my thoughts, like what Alvin Williams is saying. So I'm kind of really trying to be original. And that's part of the reason why I don't watch them till afterwards. It's like you guys go in there, I see everything y'all are saying when I rewatch it later. Like I'll watch Raptors Tonight from last night sometime today after I've done this stream, because then I can watch it because it'll be all I've already talked about it and stuff. So Duke's saying, oh, it jumped. And there's a lot of good comments today. I'll make sure I read everybody's comments, guys. Do not worry. I will get to everybody here. Wow. All right, good. I'm glad to see it really fill up. Sorry, Nameless. VW looks like a generational play like nobody in the NBA has seen in the history of the game. No team that has the first overall pick is going to trade him. That's probably true. But also, listen, once again, sometimes players that look like that are too good to be true. And there could be something about him that isn't going to pan out or anything. It's like he just looks like such a slam dunk, sure. but there is something about him that may be not exactly right. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it is and how his game translates to the NBA, the toughest league in the world to play in. Yeah, nameless saying. There's an old saying. Even Wayne Gretzky was traded. We shall see, dude. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if anybody's going to be able to trade to get Victor, it'd be Masai Ujiri. And it's true what Nameless is saying. We have the assets to do it, but I don't know if I want to pay that price for an unknown quantity, even if he looks so good as a prospect. Monique has got so many Raptors on the emoticon path there. I love it. The only person that needs to wake up is Flynn. Support him, obviously, but man, definitely in a huge slump. Go Flynn. All right, I'm going to give Malachi some positivity right now because, yes, he is shooting bad now. He's not playing that well, but I want to give him some props for the 3 assists he made last night. There were some really beautiful assists that he made last night. Really smart playmaking that made me have more confidence in him after last night, even though he didn't make any shots and he was an offer. And he's struggling offensively with his own shot. At least he's setting up other people, and it looks real good. The 3 assists he had last night were very pretty, but that's not enough to play. I mean, Jeff could get those 3 assists and make some shots and do other stuff too. We'll have to see how much longer Malachi's going to get this leash. And maybe his spot in the bench rotation will be changed for somebody else. We didn't see him switch guys in like Thad and Jeff and Joe Wieskamp like I was hoping Nick would do that. So, you know what? Let's call him about that right now. Let's call him about that. All right, hang on. It's still ringing. Nick, it's Raptorsfreak and Raptorsfreak call. We're on a live stream right now. Yeah, we just have one question for you, real quick, and I'll let you go because I know you're a busy guy. I know you're probably at OVO and you got film sessions stuff like. Listen, if Malachi continues to miss shots, are you going to switch him out and put one of the other guys into his bench rotation spot of the 5 that comes in other than starters? Because look, I know that he made some good assists last night, but I think that you may need to like give a look to Joe Wieskamp. Yeah, Joe. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Nick. All right, you go. Noah system's looking better now because the shooting's looking better. Yeah, Noah system. Yeah. All right. All right, Nick. Bye. All right. Cool. So, yeah, I think he will probably like try somebody else soon, just because Malachi is not hitting his shot right now. And you got to go with the hot hand. And I think Joe Wieskamp might be just like automatically a hot hand. So let's hopefully we'll see that. Let's see what's going on with that. All right, Duke Rocks is saying 4 Stanley Cups and 10 plus years later they trade him, but regardless, doesn't hurt the dream. Well, listen, I mean, either way, I mean, listen, I'm not even that big on getting Wemby. I know so many people are, and so many people are crazy in that way. I don't think we need to get him. And whatever, he'll be a problem in the league in different ways, but I think the Raptors getting Wemby is not very realistic. And a lot of the fans that think that we were going to get him all along or try to get him or lose enough to get him, you're crazy. So, in some ways, the dream of Wemby to me is very limited, but it's weird that we're seeing our team president go and watch him this week. And that kind of does say something in some ways. Monique saying interview last night were on point. Yeah, they were pretty good after game interviews. Scottie's was longer than usual. He talked for about 6 minutes, and he really did talk a lot about like what he's doing basketball wise on the court, like plays and different things like with the pick and rolls and things like that. Really good interview with Scott. I know once again, he's probably going to want to get the ums out, and he's still got to work on his public speaking. And that may bug him later if he rewatches the video later. But Scottie, you're doing great on the court, and you're looking really like engaged and happy because you're getting challenged and you're really succeeding. And once again, everybody who wants to talk about sophomore slump for Scottie, maybe because he scores less. Well, look at these games that he's putting up and the numbers he's doing right now. Yeah, this isn't a sophomore slump. In fact, there's something about Scott that y'all need to realize. There's 2 things that he's doing on the court that you can't teach and that you never learn. You can't learn, and he's already doing them. He's got them. That getting that position down low, establishing his spot, and getting low post position is one of the hardest things that any NBA player can learn, and he's really good at it already. And then the other one is the court vision. Like Alvin was saying during the broadcast last night, the stuff that Scottie's doing with his passing is stuff that, sometimes people don't learn until like they're later in their career, or they just don't have it. They don't ever have it ever. Or maybe they get a little bit, but he has a lot of stuff that he's already advanced on for only being in his second year. So there's so many good things to look forward to with Scott. And you can see how dominant he could possibly be as he wakes up more and more to just how powerful he is on the NBA court. That, he's doing things like that one play with LaMelo, where it was a 50-50 ball, and that ball, they both had their hands on it. He just wrenched it from him and then jammed it on the goal. And that's what I'm saying. It's just him establishing his dominance, establishing that he's the big boy on the court and they're all little babies. He's going to put him on his back and he's just going to mess them up. He's going to give them baby food, as him and John French would say in the game. We're going to feed the babies baby food. Yeah, dunk on them. Bam. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of innate stuff that he has already that he's really good at that takes years and years for people to get good at. Either you have or you don't. And that's part of why I'm like, this dude is going to be so good. That low post positioning and the court vision and the way he passes are just, they're things that you either have already in your hard drive when you come in as a young player, but if you learn them over time, you work really hard to learn them. So, oh man, the future is so bright for him. And then the stuff that Precious is showing too. Once again, those two guys are X factors just for the fact that they are such studs and talent that they are going to be able to do so many crazy things in the future as they get better and better. And they really care and they're really smart and they're really dialed in and they're very motivated. That's the crazy thing about them. It's like you can have the talent and the skills and all the raw material, but maybe the desire or the aptitude to learn isn't there, but it's all there for both of them. And they are real. Oh my gosh, these dudes are going to be very good. And we need to hang on to them as long as possible. Both of them, Barnes and Achua. We really, really do. Really, really do. All right, let's see. Daddy Gates, start off with the call to Nick Nurse, please. All right, I did make the call just now. I hope it was okay. And I'm trying to politic to get some playing time for Joe Wieskamp right now. That's what I'm trying to do. Callie Mayer saying, just love to see them attacking the rim. It's a big piece. We've been missing that in the ball movement. Yeah, it's every single game is going to be different with the opponent, but at least now we have something to work from. Before, people had realized we were not making outside shots, they could pack the paint and we couldn't really do anything about it. Now that we're more confident in making our outside shots, it's going to be easier for us to play top teams like Milwaukee and Boston and have more success. That is a big difference. Is Charlotte isn't as good on defense, but they're giving us the right tools and the feelings from the games that we just played them to be able to, okay, now our outside shooting's feeling better. So when we do go see Milwaukee next week, we'll have our game a little bit more opened up in the right kind of ways where they can't just kind of cut us off, like choke us out on our offense because we're struggling so badly from the outside. So this is going to be a big difference going forward, is that we have confidence shooting outside now, especially Gary. Oh my gosh. Gary's such a bucket right now. Like if you see him wide open, he's going to probably put it in for sure. Monique saying free throws were on another level. Nice to see for us. Juancho's footwork. Yeah, Juancho, the team player. Juancho was just a team player. I love that cut he made, and he was found. That was a really hard catch and finish on that cut that Juancho made, that layup. That was really pinpointed, just perfect. And you have to be like a really good pro player like Juancho to convert that play because he was getting hit at the same time as catching and putting it in all in one motion. And that is not easy to do. Yeah, our free throws, we got to the free throw line way more than Charlotte last night. And I like that. That shows that we're aggressive. We're taking it to them. And that ref crew was kind of I've realized Kevin Scott's the referee I hate. He's that country guy that I know his record with us is pretty good, but he is that country bumpkin that I call George W. Bush because of the way he talks. Anyway, but looking at the team stats between Charlotte and Toronto last night, they did outshoot us by the end of the game, 53% to 52%. But at the half, we were shooting 60% to their 50%. So we were really tearing it up in the first half, killing them with 69 first half points. That is so good. That is so good. I love seeing that. And then, free pointers, they did make more threes than us, 3 more threes, and shot a little better there. Free throws, though, we had a big win over them, 9+ points on free throws compared to them, 28 made to their 19, and we shot 78% at the free throw line. We were shooting pretty bad at the free throw line in the first half, but they shot better by the end of the game, and they shot horrible at the free throw line. They out-rebounded us by 10. I don't like that, but the assists, fantastic. We had 18 assists at the half, ended up with 30 by the end of the game. Nick Nurse was making jokes about it. It's like, oh, that wasn't enough. to the press after the game. And he was like, what, we've been getting like 32, 33 assists recently, but we only got 30 last night. Come on, 25 plus is all I want to see, at least from you guys. You got to get to 25 at least. 30 is fantastic. 15 steals for the Raptors, fantastic. 9 of them between Precious and OG, just really, really good. And this is the thing. We finally did what we wanted to do on Tuesday, on Thursday. We wanted to make them turn the ball over. 22 turnovers for Charlotte, and that is their season high for the season. They're really good at taking care of the ball to a degree. And we made them cough it up last night. We didn't do it on Tuesday. And that's a big indicator that our defense was way better last night than Tuesday, that they had so many more turnovers last night than on the Tuesday game. And that's great because it's like they had their season high in turnovers, just like Phoenix and Portland had their season high in turnovers recently against us. So that was more like how we should win last night than the game on Tuesday, which was a scoring race, which we outscored them in. Well, we added the defensive aspect to the game last night, and it made it easier to win, not so stressful near the end where we were just trying to outscore the other team. Tom Duke is saying Fred VanVleet switching his role up for the team equals a mature leader and the 2 obvious stars, P. Skills, who can do number 1 moves in his sleep, and Barnes, who is maturing rapidly. Yes. So Tom Duke's 3 stars. Fred. He likes Fred. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, y'all. Part of the reason to keep Fred around is because he's that library of knowledge and just expertise in the NBA and just savviness. And, you know, he will morph his role to the size of what it should be in any given second to help the team. Whether it's before the season, oh, we want you to be off ball, Fred. Well, I'll try and do that. Well, we're in trouble, Fred. We now need you to be more a point guard. And he really was playing like a point guard last night. He has played more like a point guard in the last few games where we won. So that it really is like, we need you to be the point guard, Fred. I'm sorry. Like maybe we said we're going to put you at off guard and we're going to have point forwards with Pascal and Scottie, but I think it just works better if you're just still playing point guard. And in some ways, it's not that we don't want you to shoot. It's just that you're so good at distributing and setting other guys up and keeping a flow for everybody to be involved. Like last night, how did it feel? It didn't feel like 1 or 2 guys were just taking over for the Raptors and doing all the scoring. It was like 6 guys were all capable and having their moments. And you're kind of like feeling, oh, wow, Precious here. Oh, Scottie. Oh, OG. Oh, yeah, Gary. Bam. It was more like that than just like Pascal and Gary are going off and scoring like half of all of our points. The more distributed among like 6 or 7 Raptors contributing and having double digits, the better. And that is a big part of Fred doing that and being that distributor and kind of looking for everybody and making sure everybody's getting theirs to a degree. So I like it. I like it a lot. Yes, yes. All right, let's see. Good morning, Raptorfreak crew from Cool Cat. Happy Friday, 3W streak. Pascal, insane efficiency without trying hard. Scottie looking effective in this role. Fred VanVleet, 4th quarter 3 gives me hope. Gary Trent Jr. finds alternative when threes dry up. Yes, he can go inside and do those little teardrops, those little floaters. Those are very good. The little sidestep mid-range stuff, that's very, very good stuff from Gary. Scottie looking much more mature, tuned in, really smart. He's learning at a very fast rate, and it's showing that he's making faster, smarter decisions. Him, Precious, and KOLOKO, they are on the fast track to learn the NBA faster and faster and faster. In fact, KOLOKO was like, what, Precious is a vet? He's only in his 2nd year. Somebody said that to him in the interview last night. He's like, Precious is a vet? He's only been playing, what, 2 years now? Or something like that. Yeah, Precious is kind of a little bit more vet, at least than you, Christian. Pascal's efficiency is really good because, listen, if he's off the ball, he's not working as hard. He's not wearing himself out. This is in some ways just like limiting his minutes overall. This is saving him in some ways by making him not work as hard, but he's scoring just as well. That is like, that's like a light bulb went off last night in some ways. If we can mimic his efficient way of scoring more, and that is some ways it frees up the ball for other people more because he's finding the ball off of other people getting double teamed, much like they would find the ball off him getting double teamed in the reverse. He's doing the opposite because if they're coming to double team Scottie, well, Scottie can find Pascal and boom, he can get the other side of the relationship and get some easier baskets, not wearing and tearing his body as much. I love it so much. I love that development for Pascal. And if we can make that happen some more, there's going to be games where he's going to have to do it the old way, isolation, get beat up and really work hard and get the line. But there will hopefully be more games like last night where he can move off the ball, maybe get some cuts and get easy layups, or just be the outlet guy like OG, where they're passing around and boom, there's Pascal on the outside for three with a wide open shot. Because there was quite a bit of that last night also with him hitting his threes. I love it so much. Evelyn's here. Good morning. Another big W for the Raptors. Love this game. A lot of movements and attacks. Woohoo. Let's go, Raptors. Yes, isn't it fun to watch the offense when it is like this? When it's not like misses and just looking so pathetic. When it's actually humming, the ball is humming, as they put it, is passed around and people are making their shots. And it's just like really good ball movement, very much sharing, very connected. Like connectivity is going to be such a huge part of the rest of this year for us. That in some ways, listen, last year was about defense and really getting established good as a defensive team. And we won a lot and we did really well. That's still there. That everything they built last season with this core on the defensive end is still comes out and is used in every kind of way. This year, we've been building our offense and our offensive chemistry and what we want to do. And we're kind of just had a light bulb and turned around the corner this week as far as that offense and what's possible, and maybe the guys understanding it more and putting it out there more consistently on a night-to-night basis because they've realized this. They've understand this now, and maybe we have finally got an offensive system that these guys really feel good about and can work within and be very effective. I really do hope this is true, and the signs point to this. So yeah, hopefully the work we did on defense last year is being happening with the offense this year, and now we'll be a more complete team. We can have that really great shutdown defense that we had last year. It's still there. It's still there, and we still do it all the time. And now we can add a much better offensive flow because we're really playing off of each other. So good. Nako the Nacho is here. Good to see you, Nako. I hope you will come over tomorrow and watch the Atlanta game here at my house on Saturday, 7:30. Come on over, Gerald, and let's watch this game and get the fourth victory in this streak together watching the game. Poor LaMelo feels like he has no help. Cool to see Charlotte never say die. Pascal, Scottie, and Precious were our best players. Tons of great highlight plays. Yeah, he's got the same three as me. You know what? He has some help. You know, he has guys that, well, they've had knuckleheads on their team. I mean, Bridges, if he was around, if he hadn't done the domestic violence, that would have helped them a lot. But it's rightfully so. He should not probably be playing. And then, Terry Rozier is a very good player, and they were that 1-2 punch last night. I don't know. I don't care about their problems. Let LaMelo be poor LaMelo. Who gives a shit? Let him have all these problems and feel like he's on his own by himself. That team has a lot of problems. They're going to take some while to get together. See, they don't have certain things that we have. Michael Jordan is not Masai Ujiri. He's not very good at building a team, obviously. And then, Steve Clifford compared to Nick Nurse, yeah, they have a lot of building blocks they've got to figure out and get together. They tried to get that coach from Golden State, Kenny Atkinson. He turned them down. He said, I don't even want to come with your dumpster fire over here in Charlotte. So they had to go and get Steve Clifford, a retread from their past. And so there's all kinds of issues with their team that we don't have. And that's a really good way to gauge, like, look, this is how much better the Raptors are off than the Charlotte Hornets as far as like what they have in their franchise as far as assets. LaMelo may be the best asset they have in their whole entire franchise. And they don't have a whole lot of other else. I don't worry about that. That's their own damn problems. Good. They're in the Eastern Conference. Good. Let them be one of the shittiest teams in the league all the time. No problem with that. We need people to beat up on. I don't feel a damn sorry for LaMelo Ball at all. I do not. No, I don't. I think Adonis is a big fan of his. Drake's little son. Because I think he came to both games for Charlotte because he wanted to watch LaMelo. So there you go, Adonis. He gets 2 big L's while he's in Toronto. Bam. G saying Scottie setting screens has kept them moving and engaged throughout. The PNR was nice to see. He does really well with it too. And he was talking a lot about it after the game, that he's enjoying it, that he really does being the roller. And then he's like really dissecting and talking about when he rolls and when he doesn't. It has to do with what part of the shot clock that they are in. If it's early in the shot clock, he wasn't rolling. He's popping. But if it is like later in the shot clock, he's rolling to the basket. And yeah, he's all about it. It's very cerebral for him right now. He's very, very, very much picking the game apart cerebrally and understanding what he can do physically with his great talent and body. So all right, let's see. Click is here. Good to see Click. I refuse to be fooled by these games. Sure, we can beat the worst team in the league. Now let's see what we can do against better teams. All right. Well, this is just like a video game, Click. Let's think about it this way. Like at the beginning of a video game, you play or easier opponents and then they build. Well, let's do that. Let's build. I think Portland was a pretty good team. We beat them, and now we've beaten Charlotte. And I know, some people are saying, oh, this is just Charlotte. Who cares? Well, first of all, I'm going to point out that we beat them twice, and that's super hard to do. And that is really good that we did beat them both games. And now we get Atlanta, which is a little bit better opponent in some ways, but not super, super good as far as like in the whole scheme of the NBA. So let's ratchet it up each time and let's see. Let's see. This could be just very much like a video game where the levels get a little harder each one going up. So let's do the Charlotte challenge, take care of that. Atlanta tomorrow. And then boom, we got some pretty quality opponents. New York, sure, that's another ratchet up a little bit. And then Milwaukee again. And let's see how this goes, Click. So I know that you're pessimistic about this and what you're saying, but listen, this is not fool's gold. I'm telling you, this is the real deal. I will put that Raptor freak credibility on this one. The Raptors are for real, and we're about to start fucking this league up. Seriously. I see all the signs of it right now with the way they're playing off each other. There's good vibes, there's good feelings, and we're going to be doing this to everybody. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It may be like, oh, it's just Charlotte, of course. Well, them being crap here made it easier to get in that groove. Well, once you get in that groove, you don't let it go. You go and try it against everybody, and hopefully it works against the top teams still. So we'll have to see, Click. Boston's here. Excuse me. Let me do this real quick before I talk to Boston. Boston's here, so we'll have to see what they're saying because we're going to play them. We're going to play them again very soon also. So and we'll see if they're a little more worried about playing us at this point. Boston's saying, congrats, freaks, on 3-game win streak. Only 4 games away from the 6th seed, avoiding the play-in. Still a lot of basketball left to be played. Good luck. That is until the 21st. See, he's got the calendar marked already. January 21st. Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors, second game of the season. We owe the Celtics something. We're going to have them come to Toronto on the 21st. We got to give them that home cooking and beat their ass. Yeah, well, appreciate you, Boston. And I love that his perspective is very good right now. Seriously, Boston Sports is keeping it real right now and saying, look where we're at and look how much more there is to play. And the possibilities are very good for us to get into the playoffs still, guys. Forget about the play-in. It's so bunched up. We win enough, we could be in that 6th seed. We can be in that 5th seed. Hell, would it be crazy if we still got in the top 4 or we did just as well as last year and we're in the 5th seed this year? It's very possible. And every chicken little Raptors fan that thinks that that's the way we're going, you're wrong because we figured it out and we're on our way. We are on our way. Trust me. For real is here. Is that a Celtics fan in here? That's right. It is, Kalua. And it's fine. He's friendly and we talk all the time. This is a space for all NBA fans to be in a mature space for the most part, other than puppets and stupid jokes. But it's a place for us to talk basketball. And as long as we can be civil about it, and it's not just finger pointing, name calling and stuff like that, and we actually can talk some X's and O's and stuff, there's no problem with that. And we appreciate and like Boston sports. He's ingratiated himself with his respectfully comments that aren't always respectful. Forgetful is saying Scottie's post-game interview was his best yet, just like his game. Thank you, Thad, and the other grown-ups on the team for getting through to that kid. So Forgetful is giving some shine to Thad Young for getting in his face during the halftime warm-ups and like making him know, I really care, Scottie, and I want you to care. And he's like, okay, I care, Thad. Okay, I care. No, you really need to care. He's like, okay, I really care. Get in between him, Juancho. It's really good. And I think that, in some ways that did have something to do with it. I was funny. I was watching the halftime warm-ups last night, and I'm like watching Scottie real good, and he's smiling. And he's like, no, everybody's fine. Don't watch me right now because I'm not going to fight with one of my teammates during the warm-up right now. So all eyes are on him at this point. They want to see this. There's going to be more fireworks. Cool Cat saying, I was happy to see Pascal get Lowry type passes to shoot since Lowry left. Thank goodness we didn't burn him out last night. Yeah, really, really saved him. Like, this is a way to preserve these guys. Like, this is something that Nick really does need to be kind of thinking about. Is like in the past with Casey, burning out Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan during the regular season has really hurt us in the playoffs with their ability to play at a high level and do anything good. And that's something we do need to think about with Pascal, even though he seems like he's superhuman with his energy and stamina. And with Fred, especially with like possible nagging injuries or him having like not being 100% around when the playoffs start. Well, let's do some load management within the game with the minutes, not necessarily sitting guys for the whole game like Greg would say on his channel, but maybe just tempering their minutes a little bit just to give a little bit more to the bench. And we're seeing how effective this is and the outcomes with how tired they are at the end of the game, that they're much more fresh and capable at the end of the game because of the minutes distribution going more towards the bench at this point. And this is something you can continue to do for the whole rest of the season. Do it, Nick, because Fred's body will thank you, and the Raptors fans will thank Fred's body for being in better shape and being more effective and efficient instead of being half hurt and messing us up in playoff situations. So really, let's pay attention to Fred and how he's feeling with his body, and then once again, Pascal, we just want to limit his reps too, so that he's not totally burnt out too by the end of the year too. So yeah, I like that also. I really do. And I like the passes that like Pascal's not usually getting the passes to him and him making the shots. I just love seeing that. That's so on the other side of things in some ways. And in some ways that's a real good strength. In some ways that is come around to that point where Pascal is getting the passes out of double teams and he's being found for 3 points outside open. And I love that. Seymour Pape is here. 3 in a row. Let's go. And yes, we have a chance. Oh, we have better than a chance right now. In fact, I feel so good about this team right now. I'm serious. The synergy and what they're doing right now that they're building is so fruitful and so like bearing of so much abundance. The things that they can continue to dial into this and find this night in, night out, they're going to win most of their games, guys. I don't give a shit who's across the court from them. They're so talented and they're so good. And we have so many different ways to attack people that it'll always be keeping them guessing. If they figure out, okay, we're going to double down on Pascal, boom, we're going to have somebody else like Gary or Scottie tearing them up otherwise. And then bring in Precious as another whole X factor that other teams have to scheme for and worry about. Yeah, we're a nightmare. We're a nightmare when we have our shit figured out and we're playing well together. May have been easy pickings in the beginning of the season because of injuries and us being lost and not being together on the same page. Well, those days are over. And I'm telling Raptor fans, seriously, believe we have more than a chance and we're about to fuck shit up. Seriously, I'm ringing that bell right now. Ring, ding, ding, ding. We're coming. We're coming. It's dinner time. Let's come to eat, everybody. Let's go eat. That's right. Kareem Thomas is saying, so Scottie decided to roll after setting the pick. Good to see. Yeah, I think he really likes it too. From the interview after the game, he was like lighting up, talking about it. It's like, I really like rolling. He really likes the roles that he's being put in nowadays. He does like very much mixing it up down low with the strongest players on the other team. And he likes being like in the middle of it all as a center. So he's very relishing that role. It's not like he's scared of it or he doesn't want to do it. He's very much into it. And I love that. I love that so much. Canadian Cowboys here. Good to see Bradley. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. When Freddie tried to smack the cameraman, I knew he was going to hit that 3. Let's go. I missed that part, but there's all kinds of crazy stuff happening in the game in different places and different things and stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Duke saying 100% Boston. Y'all did your turnaround last season. We'll try and replicate and pull off the same turnaround this season. There you go. That's right. Boston did a really good second half of the season last year. And we can, forget them. Let's replicate what we did in the second half of the season last year because we did the same thing. And but yeah, it's good. It's nice to see Boston recognizing and appreciating our 3-game win streak. We appreciate that. And good win over Brooklyn last night. You guys have Kevin's out right now, so it's a little bit easier to beat them. But it's important for y'all to take care of business against one of the top Eastern teams that is a rival, the Brooklyn Nets. So Boston won that game last night. Let's see. Randolph Phillips is saying blessings, blessings, blessings. Yes, you get a car. You get a car. You get a good morning to our most beloved and most informative Raptor Freaks gang. The streak was extended to 3. Great. Let's go get 4. That's what we want is more. So let's knock on that door and go get 4. Tomorrow, we're beating you. Tomorrow, Atlanta, it's only a day away. That's right. Space Cadet saying so many trash accounts attacking Fred last night, even though he was really good and made others better. People can't watch Raptors basketball without agendas anymore. That is so true. Oh my gosh, Space Cadet. And it really is. It's weird. Like on Twitter, it's a divide between the propaganda accounts like Pascal Propaganda, Fred Propaganda, Respect Fred Propaganda, and like the Muse accounts, Raps Muse. Raptors Muse. You're supposed to be Raptors for the Raptors, but you're not. You're a troll. You're fucked up. Like whoever's running that Raps Muse account, you shouldn't be able to run it. We need a real one, a real Raptors fan running that account because you're a turncoat. You're full of shit. And that picture that you posted last night with Fred in a silhouette and talking about our core, fuck you. You are a Fred hater and we hate you. So that's why I don't follow your account. And you're a fake Raptors fan, Raps Muse on Twitter. Do not follow them. And like Stats Muse, all those Muse accounts, they're full of shit. Especially the Raptors one. It's supposed to be for us, but it isn't. It's probably ran by a fan of another team that just decided he wanted to do Raptors one. So fuck you, Raps Muse, for coming down on Fred for a great game. 11 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Yeah, that's a good game. Real ones, people that know basketball know that Fred had a good game last night. And all you casuals are picking apart what he did last night. You're idiots because you're wrong. He played so good last night and y'all didn't even know it. You're so stupid. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Space Cadet, thank you for bringing that up. And I want to make that distinction between the propaganda accounts, Pascal Propaganda, Fred Propaganda. Woo, you guys are my friends. You are my brethren. And then you motherfucking Muse accounts, fuck you. You are not real ones. You are troll accounts. And Raps Muse, fuck you. You shouldn't be the person running that account. We should have a better person running that account than you, whoever's running it, you jerk. All right, let's see. Phil Real is saying, Boston Sports, are you a Raptors fan? No, but this is the thing. He's a very cerebral, smart Boston fan because he wants to keep tabs on one of his rival teams in the league. He comes to watch and keep a pulse on what's going on. And he knows the Raptorsfreak channel is the best place to find out what's going on with the Raptors and get the inside nitty gritty. And in some ways, maybe I'd be like, nah, I should ban him because he's coming in and finding our proprietary knowledge of what we're doing. But in some ways, it's like his consistency is showing up and, whatever. What am I going to tell that's going to give up or mess up things with going on with the team? Nothing. So it's like he just enjoys the channel. He is not really a Raptors fan, though. I will tell you that. He's not. He's just here to observe as the enemy. G saying the Fred trashing is obnoxious. He can do no right. Screw them. They are not real Raptor fans. Real fans want to see the team and players successful. That's right. All of them. I want to see Malachi get successful. I hate him shooting like this. But I'm also like, you know what? If he's going to be like this, we got other guys going to take his minutes and shoot better than him. But I still want to see him succeed because he's a Raptors draft pick. He was drafted by the Raptors. And I have pride in my team, the Toronto Raptors. We made that decision to pick Malachi Flynn. So I want to see him be successful and do all the good things. I want all of them to be successful. Y'all are picking favorites and you have ones that you like and you don't like and you want to shit on the ones you don't like. You're not Raptor fans. You got to be supportive of the whole damn team. And I'm sick of it. Y'all coming after Fred need to shut up. Monique is saying Precious has been incredibly amazing. Oh my God, I'm all at the game tomorrow. So happy, so pumped, back in the mix, baby. Let's go, boys. And we doing so well. Yes, Monique, you go on down there with those vibes. Vibes check is strong with Monique Lawrence, super fan, coming down for the Atlanta Hawks game tomorrow. Bring that energy right, Monique. I know you will. You come down there and bring that good shine, and boom. 4 victories in a row for the Raptors. Let's do it, Raptors. Monique's coming to the building, baby. Yes, right. Woo. Seymour saying, who are we playing tomorrow? Them lemon pepper wings. Lemon pepper wings. Now, on the old wings menu, that lemon pepper wing was Gary Trent Jr. You want that spicy lemon pepper wing? He'll pepper you with some good mid-range shots, buckets, every which way. That lemon pepper wing. Gary Trent lemon pepper wings. We had a flavor for all the players. Scottie Barnes, buffalo flavor, the original, the most popular flavor, the robust flavor, the flavor that most people want is that buffalo Scottie Barnes buffalo wing flavor. You got Precious Achua barbecue wings, Precious Achua style, robust, very strong flavored, spicy to a degree. But then you got, that spicy habanero, spicy. The hottest wing, ghost pepper wing, spicy Siakam wing. We got all the wings on the menu. You brought up the lemon pepper wing, though. That's the Gary Trent wing. But you name a wing, I got the flavor for you. OG wings, original wings, no flavoring, no sauce, no breading, no nothing. Just the wing. You just cook the wing in the oven. You get the OG wing. That's what you want. You want plain wings? You get OG wings. Nothing, no flash, no dash, just the OG wing. And the Freddy fries, you got to have a side of Freddy fries with your wings. He's not a wing, but he is the fries. And he is the perfect accoutrement to be next to the wings is the Freddy fries. You got to have the Freddy fries. All right. You're making me remember the whole wings menu from last summer that I made up. It was so funny. Thad Young, teriyaki. All right, let's see. Naco the Nacho saying Fred may have not did what's expected, but he did what was necessary. Good amount of assists. That's right. Who cares what's expected of them? I don't expect anything from them. The only thing I expect from the Raptors is this. I don't give a shit how they get there. I don't give a shit who scores what. I don't care who does what individually for their stats. Just as long as that team has this at the end of the night. I don't care what they make. I don't care if this person makes this many points or shoots this well. It could be ugly as fuck. All I care about is this at the end of the game. The W. If all the stats add up to it, Raptors win, then we're good. What are we worried about nitpicking with stats? Freddie had a great game last night. He hit a dagger three. He facilitated. He scored at key times when we needed him to score, and he found his shot in a very methodical, efficient way. And he didn't score a lot because we didn't need him to score a lot. So, yeah, there you go. I don't know what's expected anymore with these Raptors. People expect too much, maybe. Maybe you should expect these and root for those, and that's all you should worry about as a fan. Bam. Tom Duke saying, Hawks going down next. That's right. We're going to have to find out what happens on the real mascot matchup tomorrow. Talking about this whole story with these Hornets chasing the Raptor in the woods. We'll have to see what happens. Seymour saying that, Tom, they are food. That's right. We liked that popcorn chicken last year. The Raptor met the Hawks and turned them into popcorn chicken, popping them out, just like KFC popcorn chicken. So good. Yum, 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 yum. And we owe them. Listen, Halloween, what did we do? We blew them out. I was at that game. We messed up the Hawks on Halloween night here in Toronto. We messed them up. Seriously, that game was so, crazy one-sided and like routed. And then what happened? We went to Atlanta and we lost in overtime at a last second shot to the son of one of our coaches, Dr. Adrian Griffin's son, AJ Griffin, hitting a last second shot like that. We owe them. We remember how we hurt after losing that game, like at the last second, how we felt failure. And we're like, well, we got to get back together. And we're going to get it tomorrow here in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena against the Atlanta Hawks. We have not forgotten about that last second shot by our good friend AJ Griffin, but we are going to make up for it. And especially since we want to win the season series against the Hawks. We are 1-1 against them. Well, we want to be 2-1 after tomorrow night. So there's all kinds of get up for tomorrow against the Atlanta Hawks when they come to the 416. Yeah, going down next. I love it. They are food. Popcorn chicken. Pop it in your mouth. Eat it. Little Trey Young. Calapoon is saying, some people are saying Siakam's amazing point productivity means nothing because the team plays too much ISO this season. Now hating on Fred for not scoring a lot. Keep up the good fight, Raptor-Free crew. Yes, Caliban, you too. And whatever arenas you choose to enter on social media with idiots that are talking shit, you fight the good fight too, my friends. I know all y'all are doing that in your own little ways in different places. And like when you hear out of pocket opinion or observation about players on the Raptors, you are standing up and doing the right things like I would. In that instance, I appreciate that. Yeah, all right, let's talk about what Cal is saying here. Some people are saying Siakam's amazing point productivity means nothing. That is stupid. First of all, he went to a new level last night. He went to a level where he doesn't have to have the ball go through him all the time, and he can still make the production that he did last night. That's not easy. That's kind of it's a new area of like superstar. It's like, sure, yeah, you can get those numbers when the ball is always in your hand and you're getting fed it constantly. But that's not how they played last night. They played it very egalitarian, like all over attack with different guys at different times. It was OG at this time or Scottie, Gary. In some ways, Siakam found his points from coming from the other people and not just him beating them over the head in ISO. And in some ways, he leveled up because of that. We leveled up with a couple of different people last night. Scottie leveled up, Precious leveled up, and so did Siakam. In some ways, Fred did too. In some ways, they may say, oh, he leveled down, but no, that's a level up because he's still super effective in a smaller dose and very, very good. So, yeah, there was a lot of leveling up with the Raptors in certain ways last night, whether it's as a team overall, they leveled up in a way. And then, yeah, some of those individuals leveled up. I know Scottie's leveled up a couple times in the last month with how he plays on the court and the things that are coming. Yeah, they're coming, and they're going to be very dangerous and scary to the rest of the league. Oh, yeah. Tom Duke has got that Tweety bird. It's the Twitter bird, and he's got the pepper, and he's got a sad face, and bahaha, nice one, Seymour. Yeah, I like that. 100% hot maple syrup wings. The maple syrup wings. Well, we did have that caramel wing, that Chris Boucher caramel wing. I was like, caramel wings? That sounds a little crazy, a little weird, but they are surprisingly good. If you went and had caramel wings, you'd be like, this is actually pretty good. It's kind of weird combination, but it makes sense if you actually really think about it. So, yeah, we had Chris Boucher caramel wings on the menu. A little bit different, but, okay with it. Really likes it. Hawk wings for everyone? Hawk wings? No, we don't want no hawk wings. We're going to kill them with our own wings. That's right. No John Collins wings, stale ass Wish version of a wing. No, we don't want no John Collins wing. And I don't think anybody else does either. The Hawks put him on the market recently and they want something like Donovan Mitchell for John Collins. You're crazy, Hawks. John Collins is not worth what Donovan Mitchell or Rudy Gobert is worth. You are crazy if you think that is what you can get for John Collins. Seymour saying, yum, yum, chicken hot, done. They are going down. That's right. That Raptors are, Blackhawk saying Fred VanVleet was operating like Chris Paul, which is perfect for his growth. Control the pace and be crafty. That's right. This is the same thing like Lowry. Lowry didn't have to score a whole bunch every single game. He was a facilitator. He was really on the pulse of the game and what it needed at any given time. Sure, he'd step up and hit big shots if necessary, but otherwise, it's share the wealth. Let other guys go and do it and just be there as like a steady guy, a guy who's kind of controlling the pace, as what Blackhawk is saying, more like Chris Paul. And that's very, very, very astute and true. And that's the thing. Of somebody who understands basketball, understand what Fred did last night was masterful in some ways. Seymour saying, can you give us a conversation between OG and Kawhi? It would be so awkward. I don't even know how to do that. I mean, first of all, I don't want to insult those guys because I have a tremendous amount of respect for those guys, but I don't even know how that would be brokered or gone about. I mean, I guess it would be kind of like, OG be like, hey, Kawhi, hey, how's it going? And like OG, Kawhi's like, maybe just looks at him. And OG's like, okay, all right, see you. I don't know, maybe like that. It may be like that. I don't know. Monique saying Champagnie with the G League Skyforce is more official. Yeah, we're going to see them on Sunday, Monique. That's right. Justin Champagnie gets his first payback against the Raptors Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Raptors 9:05 versus the Sioux Falls Skyforce or something like that. That's the G League affiliate of the Miami Heat. And speaking of the Miami Heat, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with them. They had their investor, the person whose name was on their building, was a cyber trade or something like that company, which was found guilty of all kinds of crimes. So they had to strike the name off their building. So now the arena is just called the Arena again. That's what they used to call it, the Miami Arena. It was just the arena. Well, now it has no corporate sponsor because the corporate sponsor was full of shit and criminal. So their building has no name on it now. Well, Spoelstra, he's found out that the Spurs are doing this huge game tonight. I don't know if y'all know, but the San Antonio Spurs tonight at the Alamo Dome are going to break the attendance record for the NBA in the history of the NBA. They're going to get over like 65,000 people or something like that, 63, 60,000 something people. Well, Spoelstra's like, I didn't know that the San Antonio Spurs were breaking the attendance record today. I want to beat it. And he's talking about how he wants the Miami Heat to have a game in an outdoor baseball arena where the Miami Marlins play with 100,000 people at it. So this is a very interesting trend to see if there's going to be like a attendance war between teams to get like a one big, really big game for the season and get as many people. I'd love to see the Raptors get involved and go back to the Dome for like one game and get like an 80,000 like person crowd. And we'd have to be doing very well and make it a very special occasion and really maybe make some of those tickets very cheap because you're going to have that whole arena so big and it's so hard to watch basketball in there anyway. But I like this idea of huge monstrous crowds in the NBA games and that it's kind of fun. And also the idea that Spoelstra has about having a game outside in Miami, that is very interesting also. So we'll have to see where this trend goes with attendance records in the NBA. The Spurs are going to break the record tonight, but it's touching off in other places like Spoelstra's mind. Could we do that? Could Toronto do that? That's what we got to see. It'd be very interesting to see. So, excuse me. All right, let's keep going. Justin Champagnie shining with Miami's G League. Miami Heat's going to be testing him out for the main team with that 3-point shooting. You know, he could actually really help them. In fact, when I saw that he went to Miami in particular, I'm like, man, he's going to be on their main roster at some point because they have such a need for rebounding. And they need any kind of size. I mean, he kind of fits them too because they're all undersized too. So he would just be another undersized person in there. But at least he has that dog in that fight. And it's kind of interesting that he'll be with Lowry. I don't know. Like, we'll see if he makes the main team and he gets to play up there. But there is a very good chance. He has a better chance of making Miami's main team than our main team, to be honest. Because there's a lot of like holes on the Miami team that he could fill. So it's an interesting acquisition. It's not exactly the place I like to see him. And I'm really worried about him becoming one of these guys that has a chip on his shoulder against us and really overperforms when he plays Toronto teams. We'll see on Sunday for the first time. We'll see. Daddy Gates saying, remember when the Hawks won the last game? Trae Young did that obnoxious wave goodbye to our bench. I hope our players remember this, put a beat on them, and be a real petty tomorrow night. That was all Jamaal Magloire. We figured that out. The reason why Trae Young he did that like a little kid. And I thought it was so funny he did that. I wasn't mad at him for that. He was doing that directly to Jamaal Magloire because he was talking so much trash. Once again, Jamaal Magloire, he talks a lot of trash during the game. And this is why these guys are making motions at our bench, is because of him talking trash. It's the whole thing that happened with Dillon Brooks in Toronto is like Jamaal Magloire was the one who was yelling, "This is our house" at him. And that's why Dillon Brooks started yelling, "No, this is my house," last year and this year. It's all because of Magloire. So it's the same thing with Trae Young. That was all totally towards Jamaal Magloire, not towards our players. And it's only because he was talking mad trash. So, I mean, I'm not mad at Trae Young for that. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's hilarious that he did the nanny boo-boo kind of thing. Like that was the whole thing he did. But yeah, if they want to remember that and that makes them get more up for the game, sure. But in some ways, it wasn't really at the players. It was just specifically at assistant coach Jamaal Magloire. Seymour saying, wait, Fred had a baby. Yes, east side up. A Burrow baby. Burrow baby. No, he's having a baby again. Like Shantae is very much pregnant and showing, and she's going to have that baby. It's not going to be by the time of the playoffs. I will bet you that baby comes before the end of February. So let's just put it that way. So it's coming soon. And when that baby comes, watch Fred's uptick in his offense. Watch how much better he shoots. He's going to shoot so much better. It'll be just like in the finals and against Milwaukee when Fred Jr. came. And boom, all of a sudden Fred was gangbusters because he felt like $1 million because his child was finally there and arrived. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes with Fred with the birth of his third child. Guardian saying, do you remember back quite a while ago, I said they were not moving the ball. These last 3 games had great ball movement. Yeah, Guardian Transit. I know this has been a gripe of mine for most of all last year and the good part of this beginning of this year until now, is that I have felt like they've been kind of leaving food on the table that they could have gone collect because they just were not connected enough. They weren't like looking for each other enough and not really like playing off each other enough. And now they're doing it. And we see the fruits of success from it, that they are finally taking advantage of this. And it's a huge difference. And I love it so much. And yeah, I do vaguely remember you being one of the people talking about like they need to move the ball around more, because they really have needed to. And this has been a huge key to why they're doing better now. All of a sudden, they got to continue that. That's the problem. Like when we play somebody like Boston, are they going to be able to mess that up and cause problems for us to be able to move the ball around efficiently? Are they going to cause turnovers? Are they going to make it harder, jam us up? That's the thing. That test will get harder and harder. And we'll have to see. We'll have to test it against each level as we progress in the video game kind of mentality. I'm saying we're on the easy levels. This is Glass Joe, Charlotte Hornets. Well, next round we're going to get Piston Honda tomorrow against Atlanta, and then we'll play Ball Bull, first Ball Bull. And then, we'll go into the next circuit and we'll play Don Flamenco, King Hippo, Great Tiger, just like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. We got to go through each opponent, and they each have different skills and things we have to counterbalance and have different game plans for. But I feel really good because we're such a versatile, great team with like a bunch of different good players. Instead of like being a superstar dominant team, like Pascal's just the end all be all for us, like LaMelo's just the end all be all for Charlotte. We have a diversity in who can be the man on any given night. OG, Gary, Scottie, Precious, Fred. So the diversity is really good in our stock portfolio for who can score. And that's going to be a real strength too going forward. So I'm really happy about a lot of things that are going on with the Raptors right now. It's like night and day between where I felt like 2 weeks ago about us and where I feel about us now, because we've shown good stuff recently. Cool Cat saying another hidden talent was how Fred VanVleet and Pascal slowed down the pace a bit when the team was getting erratic for the youngins to focus properly again. That is championship experience. Yeah. Yeah, and I look, he's going to put in like 3 or 4 bench guys and take the starters out. At least having Pascal or Gary out there really keeps them steady if things are absolutely going too crazy too quick. And I'd like that Nick's a little bit more reactive sooner to things like runs starting to develop for the other team, or maybe even seeing that some of his guys, instead of letting them try and work it out, like he said in the past, I just want to let them work through it and just get through it. I like that he's kind of like more quickly making changes or calling timeouts than he has in the past. And sometimes he would wait too long, like a little bit too long, and it would really hurt us and mess us up. Well, he's being more quick to call timeouts when he feels the runs in the game are changing against us, or the other team's starting to get on a run to come at us. He's finally utilizing the timeout better to stop that kind of stuff. And I'm really happy about that, because that was something that was pissing me off. I'm like, Nick, you're waiting too long to call the timeout. They've already scored and caught up, and now they're above us by 3 points. We were ahead by 10, and now we're down by 3, and now you're calling a timeout? You should have called that timeout when they were like 5 points behind us still and stopped it before. That kind of mentality. But yeah, I really like the leadership they're showing, and the sharing and the trust and the looking out for each other in general. The leadership of Fred, very important, and the efficiency of Pascal and leadership also very important also. I love it. A championship experience. I love it. Cool Cat all around. Fiercely saying, good morning, family. So happy for the win yesterday. Pascal consistent as usual. Precious with 5 steals. Scottie back to his old self. It's not even Scottie's his old self. He's a new self that's learning more and more and becoming more and more new stuff. And like, he's going to be so good. Oh my gosh, he's going to be so good because he's so smart. And like I said, he has such a drive, and he really does want to be the best version of Scottie Barnes that he can be. Well, he's got a lot of version that he's going to grow into and be better and better and better. Oh, the signs are so much there that he's going to be a dominant player in this league, just because he does stuff that takes so much time and so hard to learn. And he just can do it like it seems really easy for him. And that's crazy. That's so crazy. All right, David's saying Fred looked strange last night. Disconnected, disengaged, uninterested. Seems like he's starting to realize we don't need him, or not our leader, and not there to help Flynn. Oh my gosh, David, what a horrible take. Like, usually I understand you've been down on Fred like other people before, but this is a horrible take. This is absolutely wrong all around. He was very connected and very interested and very connected in. I don't get this. Why do you think he's so selfish that if it's not all around about him or centered around him, that he's disconnected? That's absolutely not true. And he sat good parts of the game. Like there was a really good chunk where he didn't play at all. And his minutes are cut down. And I think this is all good. I don't see where there's anywhere to complain right now, David. And if you're reading Fred like that, I think you don't know Fred. I don't think you understand his personality or who he is, because this may be the worst take so far today. Absolutely, because I didn't see any of that. How is he disengaged? How is he uninterested? I think he's very interested in winning, and that's the whole most important thing. Is once again, it's this. It has nothing to do with the box score and the stat sheet. It's just this. And if Fred is a captain on this team and he does what he does, and the team gets to this, he's successful. Boom. I think he's very interested in getting W's. That's crazy. That's crazy talk, David. I'm just going to gloss over this and give you one for that one. But that, in some ways, I would give you a strike if you weren't a regular here already. Nako's saying right now, money is the only real reason to make a trade, and I don't totally know the status of the money situation. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Once again, I don't really put that equation in my head about the money stuff or when deciding things and stuff. And maybe that does make me a little pie in the sky, but I don't know. They'll figure it out. They'll make it work, and we'll have to see. They may be doing housekeeping moves, kind of like waiving Justin Champagnie and different things to shape things for how they want to do this offseason and handle people like Gary and Fred's extension, stuff like that. Tom Duke saying, David, that is quite wrong. Sorry. Fred played his role perfect. Raptors freak ahead of the media experts with his view of how the Raptors will dictate the trade deadline. I love that. I love that. I think that they're not going to do anything, and it's going to really mess everybody up. I really do think that. I think that the Raptors may have a really sound strategy to just stand pat and let everybody think they might trade to them and then do nothing. There's that bait, OG Anunoby. Ooh, you like OG. You want that premium defender on your team? Ooh, you like him. Well, what do you have? Let's see what you got. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, that's nice. And then never call them back again. And then never do any deal at all and just hold things up for a little while. Just be kind of gremlins in the whole system, just kind of messing it up as far as like, yeah, we'll trade OG. Sure. No, we won't. And we don't trade anybody. And boom, everybody waits and the time passes too much. And then they scramble and they make mistakes. And in some ways, we just stand pat and we continue to sail our ship forward. Boom, we're all right. And everybody's fucking up because they waited for us to make a deal because they wanted us to, and we didn't. I love it. I want that to happen. G saying, David, he looked the opposite to me, very engaged and interested in facilitating for others. Yes. Yes, that's what I saw too. I mean, he was engaged. Listen, Fred steps on the court, he's engaged. This is like, why would he waste his time on the court if he was disinterested or not happy or anything like that? That's not the truth. He's very, very happy. He's very much believes in his team. And I just don't get that read. It's crazy. Mike's here. Logical Raptors fanatic. Salute real ones. Project Truth always. Just watch the replay. And Tom Duke, big facts. Fred played the perfect game from an energy standpoint and what it was supposed to be at the beginning of the season. Yeah, in some ways, although he was playing point guard. He was supposed to be off guard, but he was playing point guard last night. I'm sorry. He's like bringing the ball up and he's looking for other guys. He's penetrating the paint and kicking it to other people. That's point guard stuff. And I love what Mike's saying here, that like he played the perfect game. In some ways, I think that's true. People look at the stat line and say, oh, he didn't play that good because he didn't produce a lot. But no, that's not true. Like, seriously, look at Fred's stats from last night. He had filled up the stat sheet. He had 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. 5 rebounds for a guy his size. And, he only had 1 turnover, 8-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. That's fantastic. And he shot 50% from the field. I can't get mad at him if he's shooting 50%. So there's nothing wrong with what he did. He was a +5 too. So yeah, I don't know. It's never going to be good enough for some people. It just never will be good enough. Callie's saying, David, you're so wrong. Fred had 9 assists. That's what we need from him instead of him shooting us out of the game. Yeah, exactly. He contributed. All right, he had 11 points and 9 assists. That's 18 plus 11. So he had a factor in about 30 of our points. So yeah, it's crazy. Mike's or Tom saying Project Truth. Yeah. I'm totally with Callie on this. I mean, the fact that he was passing more and not having to score as much is good. Is very good. We scored how many points last night? 124 points, and Fred only had to score 11 of them. That's good. That means the other guys were stepping up and making production themselves. In the past, we needed Fred to score 30 to 40 points just because nobody else could score enough points for us. So this is showing real growth, and it's a very good thing. Let's see. Cool Cat saying one thing we're not thinking about. Scottie would want to be the next leader of the team. If we go for Victor, how will that affect Scottie? Yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, I'd rather have Scottie be our leader than Victor. There's something about Victor that's not totally he's a lot of hype and there's a lot to him that looks real good, but once again, something looks so good, there's something wrong with it too. That's kind of how it works in the world. It's something that seems too good to be true. Maybe it is too good to be true in some sort of hidden way. And in some ways, I like what we've got with Scottie already to build around as our young leader and like focal point of our team and that in some ways why mess around and fuck up that kind of synergy and how our team's built by trying to get somebody like Victor. It doesn't totally make sense. So I kind of understand what Cool Cat's saying here is like let's keep the room open for Scottie to be the man, and if we bring Victor in, how does that mess that up with that balance? Very good point, Cool Cat. Daddy Gates saying, yes, there is something about Victor that doesn't look right. That's what I keep saying. He may pan out to be no more than Darko 2.0 or, God forbid, a Sam Bowie. Well, I already feel this about Chet Holmgren. And these guys have way more in common than other players have with them. And it really is seems to be a fragility. We've seen how much guys get hurt in this league. And having a player like Scottie, who's so durable and strong, is smarter than getting somebody who may look a little frail, may look a little weak. And I think that Victor is stronger than Chet. But at the same time, I called this last year when they drafted Chet. I was like, this guy's going to get hurt. And you know what? He got hurt in a intramural game in Seattle. That wasn't even an NBA preseason or summer league game. He got hurt in a pro-am. And he missed this whole entire season because of that. See exactly what I said. So if I think that like Chet's already like that, and boom, we see it happen to him, and it's very much true, my prediction. As much as it's dark and it's not nice, I'm sorry, I was right. But then, I can see the same kind of things with Victor. I may think he's a little bit more durable, a little bit more strong. His shoulders a little bit more broad, but in some ways also there's stuff about his game that may work with the Metropolitans or whatever he's playing for that may not work in the real NBA. So there's something about him that's too good to be true. And maybe it's foolish for people to really go after him so heavy because it may be like what Daddy Gates is saying, that this guy is going to be a bust. And we don't even realize it. Everybody's just getting carried away with the hype and just the visuals of him. But it may not translate completely. Some people may say, oh, no, he's going to do it. He's going to be great. And they may be right. Who knows? But, in some ways, you want a player that's built more like Scottie Barnes or Zion Williamson than built like Chet Holmgren or Victor Wembanyama. So, yeah. Blackhawks saying Masai is just determining if we have to trade up in the draft by scouting Wemby. No big deal. Yeah, I think you're right, too. He wanted to just go see him with his own two eyes and see, is it worth getting into this with him? And it may be that he went there and he's like, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to keep winning. That's all I care about. Duke Rock's saying the only reason I can think of with Masai going to see Victor is tanking and if it's worth it to trade off assets. I think that you guys are both right to a degree. It's like we're at a turning point in the season with how things have gone. But you know what? In some ways, it's turning around, and we are kind of showing the signs that we are going to be going for it, that we're going to try and go and win. We're going to try and get back in the playoffs, and we're going to try and do our best to win as far as we can. And I think that that's the smart thing to do, because tanking and trying to lose on purpose is stupid all around. And if we're not naturally losing because we're at our best output like we were recently, we need to just win. And so, yeah, I think Blackhawk's probably more right, that he needs to just get eyes on him in person and see what he really looks like to gauge him. And it may be just to go look at him, and maybe nothing more than that. We shouldn't read into it that he's actually very active and wanting to get him. And maybe he just wanted to see him, and we'll have to see where it goes from there. Logical Raptors fanatic saying Blackhawk facts. Getting the true data will inform any decision if it comes up on Victor. But Masai was down in Australia, and people thought he was scouting a player, but it was the coach, and came back with Trevor Gleason. Yeah, who knows where he was and whatever. But I'm pretty sure he was scouting Victor. But yeah, Mike, you're always shortening names like Vic, and I want to just call Blackhawk Black. That just sounds weird, Mike. You got to really read your copy. I'm going to read you verbatim, and you could really set me up to say some stupid shit. Not that I want y'all to say that kind of stuff, make me say stupid stuff. But yeah, just try and like write it all out. Don't be lazy. Monique saying no to Wemby. Thanks. I'm with Lex. Shout you out, the Raptors show, Lex. All right. Thank you. Yeah, shout me out wherever you guys can. Put me on blast. Hopefully, more of the real ones, the real positive Raptor fans will find us and join us and be a part of the hive mind that is the Raptor Free cult in our group and what we're doing. And I appreciate that. And I'm with Monique. We don't need Wemby. In a lot of ways, he may be really annoying in some ways that we don't need him on our team. I'm saying people may be like, you're crazy. It's Wemby. Why wouldn't you want him? Well, sometimes there's a lot of additional problems. So when you bring in something like that or try to maneuver to get to that, Nako saying, I draft Scoot over Wemby, better scoring talent and ultimately the safer pick. Also pretty sure he plays against better players. Yeah, right now he does for sure. The G League's probably a better quality of teams than where Victor's playing right now. I like Scoot too a lot, and that's who Fred likes apparently because he's posting him on his thing. Scoot actually just posted Scottie Barnes on his Instagram going back ways. So there's a little bit of a shared love between like Scoot Henderson and the Raptors right now, as far as them posting each other in the last week. Because Scoot has been posting Raptors highlights, apparently, is what I heard. Canadian Cowboys saying momentum. Sports is about momentum, and the Raptors have it now. And when we beat the Hawks, shit, watch out, NBA. We're going for 10 straight. Tom, let's go. That's right, Bradley. I love it. This is right. Momentum is a big deal in this league, and it's been really hard for us to get going. We've had stop, start, and then really stall out. And now it seems like we got that engine humming and it's ready to go. And it's really signified by the great connectivity and passing on our offense right now and making shots finally. There's going to be that average balance that balances out how poor our shooting percentage is for the first half of the season with the second half. And we're going to get our team average up because it's not very good. And we're like at the bottom of the league in shooting percentage. Well, we want to change that. We want to rise up the ranks statistically as a team to be at least in the middle of the pack, somewhere in between like 20 to 10 in shooting. Well, we got work to do and overcorrecting to do for the first half of the season. And I believe they will. The law averages do this. It's the same thing with Fred as an individual. His shooting is down this year. Well, he wants to bring that percentage up, and he probably will. Trust me. That baby comes, he's going to be making his shots. Fiercely saying, really like the rotations between the starters and the bench, allowing each unit to rest a bit. Amazing team effort. We may have found the right formula. Yeah, isn't it so cool to see how he's mixing and matching the starters with the bench guys? He never has completely the whole bench out there. There's always some sort of emergency valve for offense, whether it's Pascal or Gary. And then the other thing I really like is in the past, he would sit people like Fred or Scottie for like just a split second. He'd sit them for like a minute and then bring them right back in. Well, he's not doing that anymore. He's giving them each at least 5 to 7 minutes of rest and really letting them have good chunks of rest in the middle of the game. And it really is showing how fresh they look at the end of the game. We're not seeing guys bent over, huffing and puffing. We see them have really good burst energy and a lot more in the tank in the final minutes of the game. And that's really important. That was the thing that I was crying out for. And finally it's happening. And we're seeing such good success is limit the starters minutes to a degree so that they can be very, very fresh at the end of the game when it matters the most. And you'll see when they come in is around 6 minutes to go. And then they're going to play the whole rest of the game, but they're not so tired from worn out from playing so much the game before that they can play that 6 minutes and they're fine. And I think that's really smart. And the more and more you use your bench effectively like this, Nick, the more W's you're going to collect. I really like it too, Fiercey. It's a big, huge development, and it's going to be a big part of why we're going to do better now. G saying continuity is key. Golden State Warriors and Bucks have stuck together and made many moves and win chips. Boston the same. They never waver off their core. Exactly. We have an investment to our core as much as some of the people in our fan nation hate some of the people in our core. Well, shut up and get used to it because we are invested in these guys over years. And that investment needs to continue to pay off. And you don't continue to get that investment paid off when you ship guys out and move them around and stuff like that. We're not like Utah. We don't want to blow things up like they did this offseason. sending people over ways. We have a lot of good things going and good chemistry, good synergy, and these guys love each other and they love playing together. So there's nothing wrong. It's once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's not really broken. It may have looked broken recently, but it wasn't. It was very much injuries and just sustaining things during a very bad injury period, and then finding our rhythm and who we are again, our identity and roles for our players. It's all starting to come around right now. So yeah, this is very true. We want to be more like Golden State and Milwaukee than these other teams that make quick decisions and trade guys around. Look, Philadelphia still regrets not having Jimmy Butler on their team right now. You want to make sure you keep guys on your team because they really are important to what you're doing. And then when you lose them, you find out real quick how much they were important to you. Like if we lost OG during this trade season, we would see immediately how important he has been to us when he leaves. And I hope he never does. I really do. Knock on wood. Keep OG in a Raptors uniform. We ain't trading him. Y'all NBA people were using him as a lure. You can think we're going to trade him, but we're not. We're not going to trade him. Watch. We will not. Let's see. Logical saying Precious in his third year, but he was very key to the switchable system we have on offense and defense. Yeah. He's such an important piece as far as versatility with that. And he's just another premium kind of player with talent that we've needed. When he was out, that we were missing him as far as we didn't have enough bench that was good. We didn't have enough like talent on our team in some ways. And he's an extra body that has extra talent. And that really adds to like being next to OG, Pascal, Scottie, and you have Precious too. That's very formidable. And other teams hate having to see that against them. They really do. Nameless saying, agree, G. Even look to the Raptors before the championship. Spent years together. That's right. We want Pascal, Fred, and OG together as long as possible because they are our core. They're our core, and they have been for a long time. And we don't want to just like willy-nilly ship guys out. We really have to ponder it and think about it. Is this the best for this team? And in a lot of ways, it isn't. And that's why you want to keep the band together. Let's see. Monique saying Pascal Siakam still 6 in All-Star voting. Go vote. Daily reminder always. Yeah, I'm not worried about him winning that vote to get in the starters. It's not realistic. First of all, the Eastern Conference is so stacked that like in the front court, there's going to be people that are going to be missing out. It's not like Pascal's going to beat, Tatum and Embiid and Giannis and to get one of those spots. Those three guys are probably going to start. And then you got other guys that could be in there too. Like who's the other fourth guy that could be in that lineup too? There's so many good front court players. And him being 6 is actually a real testament. It's like those 4 guys that could be in it and then Jimmy Butler and then him. And that is a real testament to Pascal, that the rest of the fans are recognizing him as one of the top Eastern Conference front court players. But there's a logjam there. Somebody's not going to get to start that really deserves it. And that's even more than Pascal. So, yeah, it is what it is. But he's going to make the team. Trust me. They're going to give him that nod. The coaches will put him on the team as a reserve for sure. But him making the starting lineup, it's not going to happen. And we can vote all we want. It's never going to happen that way because there's just too many good front court players in the East right now. Yes, Nameless. And Shane Waters here. Good to see Shane Waters. Wemby and Melo would be a scary duo. Yeah, that's a realistic fit that Wemby could go to the Charlotte Hornets. Once again, I don't want him in the Eastern Conference. If we can get him over to Houston or San Antonio, ideally, if he could be in the San Antonio Spurs jersey, that would be way better for everybody, honestly, at least for me. I love the Spurs. And if he's not going to be on the Raptors, I'd love to see him on the Spurs. I don't want to see him on Detroit. I don't want to see him on Orlando. I don't want to see him on Charlotte. But yeah, it would be a very interesting combo, Wemby and LaMelo Ball. Don't want to think about it too much. Hopefully it won't happen. Michael Jordan, you don't have that much luck. Hopefully you won't. Logical Raptors fanatic saying the offensive system hasn't changed. It's been the same since Nick took over in the last Casey year. I'm going to go drop on my recording today on the offense, maybe be able to focus the view on what it is. I am going to disagree with this, Mike, because it has changed. It's changed just recently. This action that they're doing off of each other, the pick and rolls, the 2-man game is something I've been calling out for over a year, and they're finally doing it. And it's like I've been so waiting. It's like I finally get the president that I've been calling out for so long. They're finally doing it, and this is different. I mean, they may have ran the same stuff for a long time, like you're saying, but this is a change. What they're doing right now is not the same as what they were doing a month ago. And it's way more effective. And I knew this would be. It really is the strength is playing off each other's talents and really getting Pascal's great in isolation and he can beat anybody one-on-one in this league. Don't get me wrong. But in some ways, that's totally reliant on his ultra talent. Now, if you get two Raptors involved in an offensive play where it's like, okay, Scottie makes a premium, badass, no look court vision play, and then Siakam's making a great finish, that's adding premium talent of two Raptors in one offensive play. So the isolation stuff is just like, you need to have the additional talents of guys playing off each other that it all adds up to easier stuff. And they had not been playing like this until this week almost. And I love it. I love this switch. And I hope that they just realize, yeah, this is the way to go. And they keep going towards that direction. I cannot remember how many times they ran a pick and roll like they did last night in games before this. It's been a long time. They have not employed the pick and roll hardly at all until last night. And I'm so happy that they're finally doing that. Monique saying Reggie Perry needs a call up anywhere or somewhere. Yeah, I agree with this. Reggie deserves some shine. He got to go to Portland last year. He probably will get called up. Once again, everybody making fun that the Raptors 905 players never get called up to the Raptors. In fact, we have two players called up right now from the Raptors 905. I believe Saban Lee has been called up to the Phoenix Suns, and Sterling Brown has been called up to the Lakers. So that's the kind of the joke. The 905 players never get called up to the Raptors, but they get called up to all the other teams in the league. And Reggie Perry's probably going to get his number called at some point. Hopefully, it won't be a timing where it kind of messes up 905 with what they're trying to do in the playoffs, like last year when that happened. Like when Reggie got called up and we're just about to play an important game and we lost to the Delaware Bluecoats. So, yeah, I want him to get called up. I want him to get over to the side of the NBA, but also I want the 905 to win too. Shane Waters saying Pascal is superhuman. His motor does not stop. He has crazy, crazy endurance. It's like, can we see how this man would run a marathon? He could probably run 2 or 3 Boston marathons in a row, and he'd be fine. G saying, I don't bet, but apparently Vegas has Gary most likely staying with the Raptors. They're changing that all the time. There's a lot of talk about OG's the number one guy that's going to get traded from us right now. And that may be just because the interest is the most high on him. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting that they're saying that Gary is most likely staying with the Raptors now. I'm all about that. Because we've heard the other wise also, Mark Stein saying he's probably the most likely to be traded of all the Raptors too. But it's all a bunch of speculation and noise. And until something concrete or something real happens, I'm not going to hold my breath. And I'm not even going to worry about it either. And I'm going to hopefully we'll ride on through this and nothing happens. That would be the best. Seriously, I think we just fuck them up by saying, oh, yeah, we'll trade you, OG, and then we do nothing. That'll really make people mess up their timelines. And maybe they wait around and they're scrambling. They make bad decisions. Shane Waters saying, gee, I hope he stays, and I would bet he does if I gambled. Who knows? It's such a good fit. He loves it here. He doesn't really want to play for anybody else, but he's so good. He could go play for anybody else and be very successful. So, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation with Gary. It really is. I don't know the X's and O's or the number crunching that, Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri care about the most in this whole situation. So we'll have to see how it all works out. Hopefully Gary is still a Raptor next season. I'd like to see that. I really would. Mason Culligan, good to see you again. It's been a little bit. Raptor freak Mason Culligan, one of the best. I love it. Hi, guys. It's been a minute. I've been having family matters. That's why I've been not on the stream, but I just want to stop by and say hi. Go Raps, go. You go, Mason Culligan, and your Raptor freak family supports you, and we got your back, and hopefully everything that's going on works itself out in a positive way for you. And we are always here. Don't worry, brother. You go away for a little bit and come back. We're always happy to welcome you back with open arms. And we're happy to see your name again here. Logical Raptors fanatic saying Boston sports is solid. I saw in another stream, a Lakers stream, I was mod on, a blood sport debate style channel. He was holding his own on football and debating well and cooking them with facts. There you go. See, we can have respect for our adversaries, especially when they're ones that show that they are learned and educated and they know what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. I can respect a Philadelphia fan more than a Raptors fan if they actually know the sport better and they're fair and they talk about it in a fair way. We've had Philly fans come in here and talk about how they hate Joel Embiid because he's such a clown show with his following him all over the place and his extracurriculars. It embarrasses them. And I have Raptors fans that hate Fred so much they'll just slander him every which way, no matter what. I have more respect for that Philly fan that's honest about Joel Embiid and him embarrassing them than the Raptor fan that's all over Fred. So it's really weird. You can find Boston sports, much respect. You're getting big ups from Mike here as far as like seeing you in other places and being knowledgeable and holding your own. So respect Boston sports, y'all. Respect to him. Seriously. Forgettable saying, check out Basketball Rewind on YouTube. Another good Raptors channel. Great analysis using film. No BS about trades. No negativity about players. That's the kind of content I would love to hear about. And Basketball Rewind comes in here and joins the channel from time to time. Thank you, Van Hoot. Check out Basketball Rewind. Logical Raptors fanatic. Jubstown Clink. To the point, Confederacy of Dunks, talking Raptors, all this great Raptors content that's out there. I highly endorse certain people. And if that's what Basketball Rewind's all about, just good analysis, no BS about trades, no negativity about players, bam, you got my seal of approval, Basketball Rewind. And I appreciate when you show up for our stream here sometimes, Van Hoot. I really do appreciate you. Monique saying, Michelle Bell of the new Wayne Embry Fellowship reminding you all to reply now in the pregame show interview. And Lex, I can't apply. That's too bad, Monique. That maybe they need to expand this in some sort of way. This Wayne Embry program, maybe the age limit is not fair to people like Monique and I. That we would apply and be involved in this, but there's an age limit on this. And why is it like that? People can get involved in things at any point in their age and stuff like that. There's a lot of freezing out of older people that are very capable in the workforce just because of their age. Ageism is wrong. And Raptors, you're so inclusive and you're so wide open to everybody. Maybe you need to open up the age limit so that people like Monique and I can be involved in the Wayne Embry Fellowship. Because in some ways, that is a discrimination and is not inclusive. That when you make it age related too. So there you go. There's a little lesson, Raptors, on how we can improve in inclusivity. Because I forget about me. I'm done. I'm on the pasture. I'm sitting here in the pasture right now, and this is what you can get from me as far as with being involved with the Raptors, unless you want to officially give me a job. But otherwise, listen, Monique Lawrence needs to have that Wayne Embry Fellowship, and she is not allowed to go for it because of her age, because she's older. Nah, that's not inclusive, Raptors. Y'all just won an award for being an inclusive franchise. Then you need to think about the age limit on what you're doing with your stuff, because there's older people that are very valuable in society, and they get kind of marginalized as they get older because they're too old to this, and they do this. That's fucked up. Old people have a lot of value, and they should be involved in jobs in different places, and stop being ageist with your hiring practices everywhere, all around, everywhere, with everybody. Start having an open mind and give a job to an older person, because they may be a very good employee and you're like missing out just because you look at their age. So there you go. Boom, bam. Mason Culligan is also saying the Raptors need another center, one that can start now and play rough and get rebounds. Well, what about Mason? What if that's Scottie? Scottie is our starting center. He can play rough. He can get rebounds. He's starting right now. I know it's not what we thought. We thought he was a point guard. He told us he's a point guard. He lied to us. Well, you're a center, Scottie. And yeah, we're playing you at center. And in some ways, it's fine. It's working out. It's okay. We did it last year, and nobody really talked about it. It's like, yeah, Scottie was our center last year, but we didn't really point it out. And well, this year it's way more evident with him going at people like Brook Lopez and Zubac that he is a center because he's mixing up with them. And he loves it. He's like, I'm a pretty strong guy. He said that last night after the game. I'm a pretty strong guy. I like mixing it up with the big guys. Yeah, you go and mix up the big guys. So in some ways, he is our center. I know what you mean, though. And we have talked about this a lot recently. Like, get a vet center for KOLOKO to learn under and just to have more strength in that position. But in some ways, this is really the way the Raptors built this franchise. The roster is that they want that in between, like, middle wing guys. And Kem is as big as a center, and KOLOKO, those are the only centers we'll probably have. I don't know. I thought about this. I mean, Jakob Poeltl's obviously the easy choice. That if he came back, he would really be that guy. But then again, how would that affect Scottie with his minutes and his development and what he's trying to do as a defensive center? Tom Duke saying tweaking personnel obviously will help, but no one's getting traded. Sorry, not sorry. Pumped after Boucher on hustle play, showing fire and not being frustrated. Winning solves everything. That's right. That's what Pascal's saying. Winning solves everything. All these problems, everything that happens, as long as we're winning, it all goes away and everybody feels better and that they want to keep winning. In fact, that may have been the overriding theme of all the post-game interviews last night is all of them. Nick, Juancho, Scottie, Precious, they're all hungry still. Pascal, they're not feeling good enough. That they know that their record's still below 500. They've had enough losing this season that they're hungry still, and this is not good enough. They want to continue to get more. And Atlanta's the next one, the next victim on the schedule for the Raptors to mess up because they are hungry and they're not satisfied. And they're going to continue to be pissed off and wanting to win as much as possible right now. That's what they all said after the game. They're like, no, this isn't good enough. We're still going. We're going to get more, is what they said. That's what Juancho said. We want to get more. This isn't good enough. Nameless is saying, damn right, it's possible for this team to still finish top 5. And I think this organization knew that, maybe even preserving themselves a little. Who knows? I mean, the rhyme or reason to how we lost some of those games, sure, they may really hurt later in the end of the season when we're trying to figure out our playoff position. They woulda, coulda, shoulda. Man, if we had just won some of these close games in November and December, man, if things had just gone a little bit better for us in the first half of the season. But we can't think that way. We thought that way a little bit last year. The games that we lost that we really close and we wish we'd had back because it could have meant the difference between being the 5th seed and the 4th seed and having the home court advantage against Philadelphia in the first round. Well, we got to continue to do this and just strive for better. Obviously, the first objective is to get back into the play-in, and then the second one is to get back to having a full playoff spot. And then, boom, then you think about, okay, can we get to 4th or higher and get home court? We'll have to see what's possible each step. First one, let's get back in the play-in, and then, boom, let's get back in the playoffs and keep going with each step, game by game, one game at a time. Atlanta, you're next. We got to get that 4th W in a row, and boom, we'll be on our way, getting closer to 500 again and over 500. These are all accomplishments we got to do. And Nameless believes in them, and I do believe that the organization believed in them also and knew that they could figure this out and right the ship. And that may mean no trades, NBA. Sorry. All the Raptor fans that want a big trade, a new player, something to happen, somebody to leave. Yeah, you may not get what you want. And then the rest of the league, you may not get a trade from us or a player that you want from us either. So I like that all about it. A logical Raptors fanatic is saying last night is the way I was planned to look at the beginning of the season. The spicy injury threw a huge wrench into things and dominoes fell with others' health, but back to healthy, we're seeing real. Yeah, I think this is very true. What Mike's saying is that the Pascal injury started everything downhill and we had to recalibrate and restart now. Well, too late. It's not too late. And it's like you got to do it at some point, sometime. You would have wished it happened when we wanted it to and been rolling for this time and really learning our roles and our identity. Well, at least it's happening now. And it's not too late. And better now than never is what I'll say. Mason saying, my favorite Kawhi moment was when Powell wait for the fist pump and Kawhi just looked at him and pointed, let's go. Yeah, Kawhi's like that. That's why when I did that whole little thing, I was like, I'm just going to make Kawhi not do anything. And OG will be like, okay. But yeah, that clip is funny. And they're still teammates to this day. I mean, does Norman like make sure that Kawhi gives him high fives whenever at this point? It was like, dude, don't do me like you did me in Toronto that one time. Because everybody sees that clip all the time. He's like, all right, I got you, Norm. Don't worry. It's funny. Nameless saying, I hope Jamaal has been reprimanded. That's nonsense for a non-participant to talk trash. Yeah, I don't know if he gets reprimanded. Maybe he dials it down. Maybe he's learned a little bit. I don't have a problem with it totally because he is a very big man and we do kind of I like an edge. And in some ways, he's kind of providing that. But maybe he needs to pick his spots. And maybe he doesn't need to antagonize certain players. You don't want to antagonize Kevin Durant. You don't want to antagonize Trae Young probably either because these guys have special abilities to get really pissed off. Like Dame Lillard the other day. You don't want to piss Dame Lillard off and then boom, all of a sudden he's got 50 points on you. So, yeah, it's like don't poke the bear. Kind of like the same thing with Kyle Lowry before. Don't poke him as a bear. And maybe Jamaal Magloire, you don't poke the bear on the other team by antagonizing them too much from our bench. Tom Duke saying, yeah, Nameless, I don't think he should be doing it. He often sits right behind Nurse, so perhaps Nick Nurse likes it. All right, one thing about Nick Nurse, when he's in the game, he completely blocks out the whole entire crowd and everything around him except for what's going on in the court and the referees and the players and everything is happening. He doesn't hear anything that any of the crowd, the people sitting near him says, and he probably doesn't hear Jamaal either. As crazy as that sounds, because he's very much in tune with what's on the court in front of him and not behind him. He said this before at times. He's like, no, I didn't hear that or I didn't see that, because he's very focused and very much on what he should be doing as a coach. So he may not be realizing that Jamal's doing this, and it may be that they've talked to him about this or not. I don't know if it's really a big deal. You got to realize Jamaal Magloire has been around our team for how long? Like 12 years. So it's not like he's been doing this all along. This isn't anything new. And in some ways, I don't mind it. I don't think it's that big a deal. It may bite us in the ass sometimes, like it has recently. But I think over time, it's not been a big deal or a big problem. And I'll bet you that Nick Nurse has no problem with it, actually, as long as it doesn't cross any lines. So who knows? Let's see. Fun guy saying, I love watching Nick's reactions on the bench. He's so expressive. Yeah, he's funny. He did like a little, like when Scottie made a dunk last night, he did like a little, ooh. I don't know what he was doing. And it's true. He's like, we had that famous picture of him with his face like, ooh, ooh, and like, there's a lot of different Nick Nurse memes that are generated all the time just from Nick Nurse being Nick Nurse naturally and with his face. And yeah, Scottie's got mean faces too. Like, obviously, he's all over the place. They're very expressive. Not good poker players. Let's just put it that way. I'll bet you Nick Nurse is a horrible poker player. And I'll bet you also Scottie is too, because they just have no poker face. They just always like expressive and emotive. And there's nothing wrong with that. It makes it entertaining. Monique's saying, let's limit Trey to 9 points, contain him, but it's obviously a team effort. Raptors forever. Yeah, the best, whatever we can do to Trae Young is always good. And I'll do the scout on them today, and I'll have the preview for them tomorrow, exactly where they're at with what's been going on with them. I've heard a lot of different turmoil with them. I've heard Clint Capella is out right now, which is not good for them. He's a very, very essential, important person for their lineup. The stuff with DeJounte and Trey, they kind of overlap in their skills, and they're a little bit too similar in some ways to be diversified to use in the same offense, where you're getting like very different looks, kind of like with us. You get different looks between OG, Scottie, Pascal, Gary, and Fred. Well, DeJounte and Trey are too similar. And I think that that's been the biggest problem with them, is like they have the same strengths and weaknesses, and that's not good. You want diversity in your roster. And when your two best players are almost carbon copies of each other, yeah, that's what you get, or Atlanta. That's what you get. That's not very good roster building. All right. Nameless is saying Jamaal is not even in the war, and he's talking trash about guys in the trenches from where? The safety of the sidelines. Get real, Jamaal, and quit providing ammo to the enemy. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things he's doing. He's not necessarily always trash talking. He's also encouraging our guys and yelling like for them to like do better and like cheering them. And like when KOLOKO does something really good, you can see him react. And when they come off to the bench, you can see him talking to them. So it's not all that he's just trash talking. He's also coaching from the bench as far as yelling things for them to look out for, or just giving them encouragement. So I don't think it's all just him just like trash talking. I think there's a part of it that is trash talking, but when you see him over there yelling stuff, it's maybe coach stuff too. So I think that sometimes he feels good and he's like he wants to trash talk, and there may be a little bit of that going on. Cool Cat saying Pascal only getting 13 attempts an entire game is very low for a number one option. One of the lowest attempts in the game. Pascal should be getting 20 attempts instead of Gary. 19, he could have had 50 plus points historic. I don't look at it that way. I mean, I know that he only had 13 attempts, but in some ways, him having less is more for everybody else. And because he's having a very effective, like efficient game anyways, and he still gets a point total that's like normal for him, we can't look at it that you can extrapolate from it to getting to 50 points if he just gotten more shot attempts. Because in some ways, they came to him in the flow of the game, and in some ways, that's way better than him trying to force it and taking more shots. I really like the way they play right now because it is very flow oriented. It's not like we're just going to club them over the head with Pascal over and over again. And that's kind of what you're describing right there, Cool Cat. It's got to be with the flow of the natural flow of like sharing the ball and things that are happening in the game. And it gets a little too like predictable we've said recently, when Pascal is just given the ball and he works in isolation over and over again, teams are scheming for that. In some ways, what we're doing now is way harder for them to figure out and try and like get defensive schemes for. So I'm going to disagree with this on this one as far as like, I don't mind Gary getting more shot attempts than Pascal. But Pascal getting that many points, I mean, you can't look at it that way that he would have gotten even more if he'd got more shot attempts. He may have missed all those extra shots that he got, and his shooting percentage may have been worse, and he still got 35 points. So I'd rather have the efficiency in some ways than the volume. Mason's saying it's not always Fred to take the blame. It's a team effort. That's right. People want a figurehead person to blame. Blame Noah. You go ahead and just blame the shooting system. It's like they're shooting bad. No one's to blame. The shooting system that they got at the OVO Center. Noah. Don't blame any people. The scapegoat for this season is Noah. And any Raptor fan that wants to blame somebody or have somebody to blame, let's just blame Noah. You don't have to blame Fred. You don't have to blame Nick. You don't have to blame Pascal, Scottie, whoever. Just blame Noah. That's who we're scapegoating this year on our channel. Logical Raptors fanatic saying, win as a team, lose as a team. That's the truth of things. That's right. Lion Hunter saying 5 wins in a row incoming. I love the sound of that. Take care of that 4th win tomorrow, Atlanta, and then boom, who is it? New York Knicks on Monday, and then very much a quick turnaround back-to-back against Milwaukee on Tuesday. So we've got the games coming quick. 3 games in 4 nights starting tomorrow. So we need to be ready for these next 4 days coming up. And you know what? Listen, the other benefit that's happening right now for the Raptors is they've been able to recalibrate and get back together because they've had a homestand recently. So there's a lot of no traveling, just being able to be at home, kind of get home feelings, a lot of practice, a lot of getting calibrated and oriented together because they're at home on a homestand. And that's been very helpful in this last week or so. Them not having to travel and being on a 6-game homestand has very much helped. And some of the things getting it back together. Plus playing Charlotte twice, yeah, it all helps us get us out of the mud and get and go in the right momentum direction. So I like it. Fiercely saying tanking conversations annoy me, especially knowing our boys have the potential to beat any team. No tanking for Victor, please. That's right. That's right. It's kind of like, tanking conversations are for losers. And, maybe our team didn't look like they were able to beat top teams a month ago, but they are, again, they're able to now. And I really do believe in them. Any given night, it doesn't matter which of the NBA teams we play against. I think we can beat them, and it doesn't matter. And that's part of the difference. Now, if we're a team that aren't good enough, our talent isn't good enough, and I really gauge them that way, then I'll be like, yeah, okay, maybe we're not going to win a lot this year. But I really, truly endorse and feel like the team that we've seen this week can beat anybody in the league. I don't care if we were playing the Charlotte Hornets 2 games in a row and people think, oh, that's an easy opponent. The things that we're doing against them can be applied against good teams and still win. And I really love what Fiercey's saying here. We can beat any team in this league. We really can. And Raptor fans that don't believe that right now, you're not being good fans because the team is going to show that. So you don't mind them shortening it? Okay. I just want to make sure we get the full name in there. Like he was calling Cool Cat Killer Cat for a while. And I'm like, Killer Cat. I'm like, that's not really her name, but that's who he wants to call her that. That's all right. Mike's always giving people nicknames and stuff. And I just want to make sure they're cool with everybody. All right, don't call you just straight up Black if you want. But, Blackhawk sounds cooler because it's like a helicopter, right? It's cool. Phil Real is saying Scoot would fit so much better than Victor, to be honest. Yeah, I think you're right, too. And in some ways, I think he's more prepared for the NBA, having been on the G League Ignite for 2 seasons. And in some ways, that is a better preparation because the talent is much more like bleeding into the NBA and guys coming back and forth. So in some ways, I do like Scoot Henderson better than Victor. And yeah, either one. Okay, let's see. Logical saying, Blackhawk, you're a real one. Always respect my bad, Lex. I understand what you're saying. I don't see things like that at times. I'm multicultural Spanish Portuguese and grew up in inner city. Don't see race at times. It's not even about race. It's just it sounds weird if I say it like phonetically the way it comes out. I mean, listen, everybody here is very understanding and stuff like that. And we let things go all kinds of different ways. I nitpick with you a bit, Mike, than other people, just because you're so involved in the channel and I love it, but it's just that you write so much and sometimes it's just a lot of labor with your comments. And I just want you to make it easier for me on me. You're making it harder on my job of reading your comments sometimes by using a lot of lingo and shorthand and acronyms and stuff. And sometimes it's stuff that I don't even know what you mean. I just want you to be clear and concise. That's all I ask of you guys in the comments section. Everybody else is great. It's just Mike sometimes makes it really hard for me to read his comments. And yeah, if Blackhawk has no problem with it being shortened to black, hey, I have no problem with it too. I'm not trying to censor anything, but it does sound weird. It just sounded weird for a second. It's kind of like me just calling Daddy Gates Daddy. It sounds a little weird. It's like, his name. I don't know how to say it. Maybe I just start calling you Mr. Gates. And so, I don't know. Because, Scottie would be, if he watched my stream and he saw me calling you daddy all the time, he'd be like, that's hilarious. And he would be like laughing about phrasing with that. Because he's very much like that, like a kid on his Twitch stream, like with phrasing. That's why he says, don't say get back on D. Like if you say get back on D to him, he will be like, he will think that you mean like a penis. And he'll be like, yeah, don't say it that way. It's always defense. You say the whole word, because whenever you shorten it to D, he starts thinking that he gets childish and starts thinking immaturely. So it's just stuff like that. All right, let's keep going. Cowboys saying big ups to the poster boy, Scottie Barnes. This is for all the fake Raptor fans with second favorite teams. Laugh out loud. For the real ones out there that wanted Suggs, they would be saying about him, what we picked him. Laugh out loud. Yeah, listen, it's funny when there's people that are fans of the Raptors, but they're actually more a Lakers fan. They're like, oh, the Raptors are one of my favorite teams. They're my team, but I like the Lakers more because I love LeBron or something like that. Or, there's some fans that there's some people that cover the Raptors that have this infatuation with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. This one guy, S. He's got a new podcast coming out, S and Gun, but he loves the Cavs so much. Like on Twitter, it's just kind of gross how he fawns over them and talks them up all the time. Like the Cavs are so good in this way and this way. It's like, you're an idiot in some ways, the way you feel about the Cavs. Okay, sure. Donovan Mitchell's mostly working out, and maybe I am a Cleveland hater, but the way that you love them is kind of gross to me. And like, are you a Raptors fan? Are you a Raptors fan? Well, maybe you're press and you have to be impartial and stuff like that. But fuck, man, the way you love and glower over the Cleveland Cavaliers is gross. And it turns me off from following you, not to be honest. You really do like fillet them to a degree with your content. If you guys know what I'm talking about on Twitter, he's always talking up the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he covers the Raptors. And I don't understand that. S bar Harden. I don't know how to say his last name. But yeah, let's keep going. Duke Rocks are saying agree. Do not what? Okay, I don't see that. Do not see VW on any of these tanking teams in the East. Spurs is a good call. Yeah, he doesn't want to see Victor in the Eastern Conference. We want to see him out West, just in case. He can be pretty good. All right, let's see. Angry Mexicans here. I think I remember you from last year. This is a Hornets fan. This is pretty good. I'm a Hornets fan. You guys got lucky both times. LaMelo Ball was the best player on the court last night. The referees were against us all night. Yes. We have not had Hornets fan check in with us yet. I think I remember you, though, from last year, Angry Mexican. Didn't you come in here at some point last season for just a second? Well, I appreciate you being here. And obviously you subscribe because you're in the chat. Listen, all right, I'll break this down and I'll be fair as a Raptor fan in this whole situation. We weren't lucky. First of all, both those games were not close. These weren't close games. We beat you guys thoroughly in both games. You guys are out-talented when it comes to us. You guys got LaMelo Ball. You got a couple of really talented, interesting young players, but you're not at a level where you're like getting it together in a way that you guys are going to win or get in the playoffs. You're very much a developing young team. And LaMelo's a great young player. He's very talented, but this is my criticism of him. He's not fundamentally good. And in fact, at times last night, him not being fundamentally good bit y'all in the ass. He turned the ball over. He did certain things out there. Now, as far as him being the best player on the court, no way. That's Pascal Siakam. In fact, I believe last night, Siakam outscored your guy, LaMelo, 35-32, and he did it on 6 less shots. So you tell me who's better and more efficient, 32 points on 19 shots or 35 points on 13 shots? Yeah. So there, we'll just say that for the first part on that. And then let me see what the rest of you said. The referees were against you? All right, I'll say this. The referees definitely weren't helping y'all, but I don't think they were very much helping us either. Now, there is a certain level of home cooking that comes with being the home team. And yeah, the refs, I hate those refs, honestly. Not all of them. Tyler Ford's okay. Leon Wood, I respect. as being a longtime referee. But that Kevin Scott guy, I'm not a big fan of him. That his he's from South Carolina, first of all, and in some ways he is actually probably partial to you guys because he's a Carolina guy. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't think the refs were overtly for either team last night. In fact, I thought they were pretty down the middle for the most part. There wasn't too bad a ref manipulation, and I really do pay attention to that. Now, you may have a gripe with the free throw differential, but I will say this, that the Raptors were playing a much more aggressive game throughout the game overall than the Hornets were. And in some ways, we have multiple players that go and get contact and get themselves put on the line, whereas you guys only really have one, and that's LaMelo Ball. The other guys on your team aren't trying to go into the paint and try and draw fouls and do stuff like that. LaMelo's really the only one, maybe Terry a little bit. But otherwise, we have like four guys. They're getting in the paint and getting fouled all the time, and we don't get half the calls we're supposed to for people like OG and Scott. And Pascal gets his fair share finally because he's getting recognition as an all NBA player and an all-star in this league. So listen, I appreciate you being here. And with all due respect, listen, you guys have a very exciting young player. He's a lot of flash. But, you know, what are you guys going to do? Whatever you're going to do, you've got a lot of issues you guys got to work through to be a top quality team that makes the playoffs. And you're not as close as some of these other teams in the Eastern Conference. The Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic are closer to being a playoff team than you guys. And that's just me being impartial and astute on this. I've seen you guys play, and yeah, you're not that good. Let's just put it that way. We weren't lucky. We thoroughly beat y'all. And Pascal Siakam was the best player in both games, not LaMelo Ball. So there you go. Logical Raptors fanatic saying offensive system is different than offense play sets. The play sets changed based on the skills of the players, but the philosophy of the system has always been a next action system, decision heavy actions. Okay, I see the distinction that you're talking about. Because it's true, Mike. They are still running the flex offense, and we see it because they're still doing the crisscross at the top of the key, and they're still doing like flex offense, like options and finding the next pass, like you're saying. So, all right, I'll agree with that aspect as far as the philosophy, but it's definitely the play set's different. You know, that much pick and roll, we hadn't seen the Raptors do that much pick and roll since Marc Gasol was on this team. Seriously, that we haven't played pick and roll. I've been calling out for it because it seems like it's just such an easy thing to do with people like KOLOKO and Scottie. And now finally they're doing it. Okay, I understand what you're saying. And it's true that you're right. They're still doing the flex offense because they were showing it still last night. And I think you're right. Next action system is definitely part of the philosophy we've had the last couple of years. It's just that it was integrated through a pick and roll, give and go kind of situation, two-man games more often recently. And I like that. I like that difference between the isolation instead. Okay, I'm glad you made that distinction. And I get what you're saying. You're right. We're both right to a degree. It's just that the distinction is between a play set and the play system. Nameless is saying, in most Asian cultures, they actually revere the elder generation and attribute their success and stability to it. Perhaps we could learn from this in the Western world. I wish, the Western world could learn so much from like Japanese culture and other Asian cultures as far as being more thinking about the whole and us instead of me. There's so much me thought in North America compared to like in Japan, it's very much us and thinking about the collective and how everybody's together and connected. And this is going to be the downfall of our civilization and humanity is this disconnect between understanding this and being selfish, greedy, and only worried about yourself. Well, the more and more people make this decision on an individual basis, like I was in a cab the other day and I'm talking to the cabbie and I'm saying, look, it's up to every individual to decide whether you want to go the route of choosing money or people. At some point, you got to make that decision. And a lot of people are just choosing money because they have to survive. But there's higher up people that are making decisions that are choosing money over people. And it's a huge detriment to humanity and society. And that's why this world's going to collapse at some point, because they're being irresponsible with the natural world as far as the environment and the world protecting it and taking care of it so it's any good in years to come with air quality and water, just for a buck now. So it really is going to get to the point where people are going to have to think about, am I for humanity and people, or am I just making for money in my own pocket selfishly? That's going to be the ultimate fight in this whole world for humanity. and we don't get our act together, we're fucked. In fact, I think we're already fucked because those greedy people are already ensconced in power, and there's nothing we can do to stop them from running our world into the ground and making this an inhabitable planet where we're all wage slaves, just working to survive. While there's some really, really fucked up people that have no morals, that are just leeching off of all of us as parasites. And that's really what this world's set up to be right now. And I wish it's true. I know I'm taking this from your elder, revering elders in Asian culture. It's very true and smart. And it makes sense. The wise man knows more and can teach the young people. And the young people think they know everything because they got a phone and they can look everything up. Well, there's a lot of lessons you can't learn from being able to Google it. And these wise men are maybe people you need to be listening to, is what I'm saying. Yeah. All right, let's see. Evelyn's saying at Angry Mexican, now you know how it feels when the they refereed were against your team, eh? I won't even say that, Evelyn, though. I don't think the referees were overly against the Charlotte Hornets. There may be some calls that weren't right and went against them, sure. I won't say they were perfect. And yeah, I was going to say they were in favor of either one of the teams in the last two games, they definitely favored the Raptors, but not in an overly egregious way where the Hornets were stymied from it and didn't win because of it. They lost because they weren't the best team, and we had the better talent and the better players. And the refs are a convenient excuse, and maybe they were a little bit a part of the equation, but much like with us, I can't blame the refs. Even if they were a factor, we need to overcome the refs and the other team. And that's the way a Hornets fan should be thinking also. Can't blame the refs, man. They weren't enough of a factor. Y'all didn't play good enough. So Phil Real is saying if the Raptors could shoot, they would be the best team in the league. Well, let's get it going this way. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's time to overcorrect the poor shooting from the first half of the season in the second half of the season. I believe, Kalua. I believe. Mason saying, as always, Lex, great stream. I'll be on more now. Thank you, Mason Culligan. I appreciate you being back, and we always look forward to hearing from you, a great Raptor freak like you, Mason Culligan. Seymour saying, if Toronto played an outside game, we would be the first to wear hoodie jerseys. Laugh out loud. I want to see them get the Casey Bannerman jerseys. Get this figured out. Casey said recently that it'll never happen. That they need to change the front office of the Raptors before they'll allow him to design like the city edition jerseys for the Raptors, because that just seems like a marriage made in heaven. Why wouldn't you utilize such a great creative artist like Casey Bannerman to design our city edition, our special jerseys for the season Raptors organization? What is wrong with Casey? Do you guys have a problem with Casey Bannerman? What is the issue? I think it has something to do with Nike and with the apparel deals and stuff like that. There may be something to do with that. But Casey said he'd love to do it and he'd do it in a heartbeat. But he said that he wouldn't be able to do it until there's a shakeup in the Raptors front office. And I don't know what that means. I think that the fans would love to see a Casey Bannerman designed city edition jersey. So get that going, Raptors organization, somehow, some way. I would love to see that. Let's see. For real is saying the Raptors are 14th in the league in net rating with one of the toughest schedules in the league. We lead the NBA in steals, the least turnovers. Raptors have second best assisted turnover ratio behind the Celtics. Yeah, exactly. There's all kinds of metrics about our team that show that we are way better than our record, and that there's going to be a correction. There's all kinds of stuff. You look at the stuff with us, like our net rating as far as points for and points against is a plus, and where we're sitting in the standings, everybody else has a -1 except for us. And that just indicates that maybe we're in the wrong part of the standings and where we should be, and this will get corrected as the season goes on. Yeah, we had one of the toughest schedules up to this point, and now we have one of the easiest schedules going forward. And that's what we got to capitalize on now. Apparently, it's going to be a much easier schedule going forward than what we dealt with in 2022. So this is really good. Fiercey's laughing about me having to say daddy. I know. It's like, this is something Scott, when he's on, because you're a part of his Twitter family or his Twitch family, that when Scotty's reading the chat, he will omit certain people's names and not read them. In fact, there was some lady's name. Her name was like Skinny D or something like that. He wouldn't say the last part of her name in the chat. He would always say just the first part, Skinny, and so I won't say the second part because he wouldn't say just the word D. Scottie's so weird, man. So weird. But yeah, I feel a little weird calling a grown man somewhere else daddy through the internet. That sounds really weird. Nameless is saying Toronto the type of team to take Scoot with the first overall pick. No, what? That's a diss. We're not that dumb. We would take Victor if we had the first pick. But I would like to take maybe Scoot at the fourth pick or the fifth pick if he's still available at that time. He's probably going to be second, though. Mike saying, funny enough, I've referred to Daddy Gates as Daddy. I said once, Daddy dropping the truth. Nuke, laughing my ass off. I know, it's just that things like that are crazy. Troy Henry saying the C word is broken. Let's go, Raps. I hope you're right. I don't think there was any C word anyway. I think they were just struggling, and I hate that word. I don't like using it in sports in general because I think it adds to people's heads and mental problems with like losing. They make it bigger and more than it is because of that C word. It becomes bigger than what it really is. So I don't even use that word in my daily life anymore. I've X'd it out of my vocabulary. It's not exist. Those kind of energies in this world do not exist. Even if Nameless is out in the farm or Forgetful, I think it's Forgetful, is out in the farm practicing sorcery. I don't believe in that C word. And everything that happened with Coach Casey in the last couple of years is revenge for us firing him when he was coach of the year. And it's a revenge. It has nothing to do with C word. So that word is not friendly here, and neither is that T word, tank. Duke saying, the thing that bothers me most about Melo is the kid is so talented, but once in a while he seems to lose interest or concentration and miss gimme layups. The thing, yeah, you know what? Listen, like I said, he has so impressed me with his 3-point shooting and how far his range goes out. And then the thing that Alvin was saying about him last night is it's over when he gets to move towards the basket, and he has such a weird, unorthodox like body, the way he shoots, and he can shoot off balance in all kinds of ways. He's so good at making room away from the defender and getting his shot open. At some point, if you get it, let him like get into the lane, you can't stop him. That he's going to make his shot in a lot of ways and stuff. But you're right. There's something about him with concentration that maybe lacks it sometimes, but this is normal for young players. And then the other thing, like I said, fundamentally, he's just going to make mistakes because it's more important to look flashy in some ways. And being a flashy player, you're always going to have that risk that, yeah, it may look good and you may make it like 8 out of 10 times, but that one time, there's going to be a time where you try and do something flashy and it's going to totally fuck your team up. And that's why I don't like that. I don't like players that are too flashy. Like I said, he's more sizzle than steak. And in some ways, he may not win over his career because that's the aspect of his characteristic as a player, is he's more sizzle than steak. I really thought that Vince Carter was the same way, and he was on my own team. I wanted to believe that Vince was more steak than sizzle, but he really was more sizzle than steak as far as winning attitudes and being a winning kind of player. He played so long and he was a very, very good player. Don't trust me. But he wasn't a winning player, was he? He didn't win anything, did he? No, he didn't. And that's the thing. I'd rather have steak players than sizzle players. And a steak player is very much Scottie Barnes. In fact, that may be part of the reason why people think you're slumping, because they want more sizzle from him. Well, you're getting more steak from Scottie Barnes this year. For all you people that think he's in a sophomore slump, he is not a sizzle man like a LaMelo Ball. He is a steak man. And I'll go with steak guys all every day over sizzle. Every day. Blackhawks saying corrections. Hornets fan, Ball was the second best player last night. Pascal was the best player. I might even say that maybe Scottie Barnes was better than LaMelo Ball last night too. And let's put LaMelo down even another slot. I don't know. We can say whatever. It's opinions. You can make it up. Nameless saying, Hornet fan, we are currently accepting new fans, partial fans, if interested, apply within. Yeah, Angry Mexican's not going to turn coat on his team. If he's already riding with Hornets like this, he's a ride or die. I mean, in fact, I have so much respect for that. That team is in trouble, and they're not a very good team. And Michael Jordan is pulling out hair that he doesn't have. But I have to give it to a guy like Angry Mexican who loves his team no matter what and stands by them. Respect in that way. Seriously, he would have turned on them and went and joined another fan nation already. He wouldn't have ridden this far with them and gotten to this point if he wasn't going to ride with them. So as a Raptor fan that's done that with my team over the years, I respect that in a Hornets fan that doesn't give up on their team when it's hard to root for them. So respect Angry Mexican for being a real one for your Hornets team. Seriously. And Nameless, he's not going to take that application. No, he won't. Monique saying the crowd's going to be very, very massive with stream. Lex, let's go Raptors. Always keep at it. Streak incoming. Most definitely happy times are here for sure. Monique, I'm so glad you're on cloud nine and you're having a happy time and you're going to the game tomorrow. You go, Monique Lawrence, super fan. You're the best. And yeah, let's get a massive crowd here in Toronto. Let's try and beat the Spurs record that they're trying to set tonight. This is going to be a cool new wave of like huge crowds in the NBA at NBA games. Maybe they're not very good to see the game from very far away, but they're a cultural big experience. And teams want to one up each other by having the biggest crowd. Sounds like Spoelstra wants to do it in Miami. Well, maybe Toronto needs to get into an idea of how to make a huge game like this and what venue here in Toronto. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, Angry Mexicans coming in next. Well, I appreciate you saying the referees weren't fair to us, basically costing the Hornets the game. No, I won't say that. I'll say to a degree, yeah, they favored us to a degree, but that wasn't what cost you guys the game. As I said before, we're the better team. We have more talent, and we played better than you guys. We shot better. We did all kinds of things better than you guys. And that's just the pure truth. You guys have some good players, and you have a good team in general in some ways. I don't like your coach. Your coach is a retread. It's like really he's just a place filler until you can find a really suitable coach. He's not who you guys wanted. And really your roster has major holes. There's a lot of things that your team needs to be a real contender. So I'm not going to say that the referees were the reason why y'all lost. I'll say that they were not. They were more on our side, sure. But I won't say that's the reason why y'all lost. I won't say that. Seymour saying at Angry Mexican, you must be rubbing your hands like Cash Money, baby, for Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. You know, that may be what you need to be focusing on, Angry Mexican. That, you know, Charlotte Hornets have a good chance to get Victor. You really do. You're getting in those sweepstakes. Having 11 wins only at this point in the season, yeah, that's the way to do it. Keep losing. Cowboy saying there's 24 people on this channel, only 3 likes. Smash that like button and subscribe. This is the only true Raptors channel, and big ups to all religions and cultures that I love. T-Dot, let's go Raptors. That's right. Big ups to all cultures and peoples from all around the world. We are all ultimately one. It's the powers that be want to divide us and split us up so that we're easier to control. So find those comment bonds with every single person around the world. I don't care who you are. I love you, man. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care anything about your background or your culture. We're all human beings and we live on the same planet. And it's just the very, very rich that want to keep us divided with different labels and different things. And we're all really are the same. And that, you know, people that think we are better or different than other people, you're wrong. We're all the same and we need to stick together because that's what they don't want us to do. Duke Rock saying, I mean, uncontested layups that leave me scratching my head. Like, how the F did you miss that? Oh, yeah, there was that one that he missed. That one layup that he missed. Yeah. Yeah, that is a little bit of what I'm saying with like the flashiness of like being an unfundamental flashy player will make you miss easy layups like that. Like you should just take care of the shot. Like, all right, in contrast, let's look at that shot that OG made when he was going to the basket and he had guys all over him. It's a very high percentage shot because did you see how OG put that spin on the ball and it toilet bowled around the hoop like 2 or 3 times and went woo, 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 and then went in? Well, that's very much by design. That toilet bowl swirl is very, very good for getting the ball to go in, and that's good fundamentals. That's what I'm saying. It could be that LaMelo did something a little flashy or extra with his motion, and it didn't really fundamentally add to it coming off his fingers the right way to give the right English to go into the hoop, and it kind of just went out and off. You know, meanwhile, OG's using something with his left hand on the other side and hitting it with contact and guys hanging all over him, and he still like bounces it and it goes around the hoop like 2 or 3 times and then falls in. That's what I'm saying. You want the fundamentals. You want to do the things. It doesn't have to look flashy. It doesn't have to look pretty. You just want the high percentage, the smart plays. And cut out all the flashy shit because it will bite you in the ass down the road. It really will. Logical Raptors fanatic saying OVO has an exclusive contract to design the city editions. Well, I don't understand. Why can't Drake go talk to Casey? Come on, make this happen somehow, some way. I heard that he was saying that Nike's the ones who's in the middle. It's kind of causing the problem. Name is saying, okay, looks like there's a couple of languages here. I don't know. Is that Latin? MX Kate Benvenuti in Canada. Benvenuti in Canada. This is my Italian lesson from Nameless today. Benvenuti in Canada. I love it. Monique saying, by the way, great drawings by Kenrick. Happy for you. I have way too many already. Love it. Yeah, Kenrick Chronic Art James dropping another art piece on me yesterday. A little baby Raptor Freak. You can see it in the gallery for this channel. Kenrick, I really appreciate your art. And I have to say, Kenrick's in Toronto right now, and he is open for business. If you guys want a tattoo done, he actually does tattoo art on people's bodies. So, and he has affordable prices. So if you're interested in getting a Raptors related tattoo, Kenrick's probably your guy. And apparently he's in town in Toronto right now, and he's soliciting for customers. If anybody wants any art, just drawn like just drawn art, not on you, or a tattoo, he's available. So reach out to Kenrick Chronic Art James if you have a tattoo or some art you want commissioned. Let's keep going. Fiercely saying Scottie is passionate to the game, yet so grounded, not as flashy as LaMelo or certain other ballers. You know, there were a couple of things that he did that were like really fundamentally not good that pissed me off. Like the whole thing where he stares back at somebody when he's about to dunk it, that is so unfundamentally good. But he gets away with it. And as he said on his Twitch stream this summer, it's something he's done since middle school. We saw clips of him like 12 years old doing it to people on the court. So it's kind of like his signature thing in some ways. It is one of the worst kind of unfundamental things you can do. You should never take that time to do that because it's really could bite you in the ass. And it bugs me when he does it. But I haven't seen him do it recently. He did it a lot last year, and he did a little bit at the beginning of the season, but he hasn't done it in recent months since we've been losing, which is good. But yeah, I love Scottie's like he's really a worker kind of guy. He's like a hard worker. He's not all about like getting a whole bunch of points and being like the leading scorer. He wants to do a lot of the grunt work, a lot of the physical work and the strong work. And I'm so glad that he's like that. And it's really a testament to how strong he is being a second year player, the way he mixes it up with very, very solid, strong people like Steven Adams and Brooke Lopez. This is insane. Like he's way ahead in some ways that we just don't understand. And everybody who thinks he's a sophomore slump, they're crazy because there's so many intangibles and so many milestones that he's reaching that just casual fans won't see right now. They won't see the growth and the amazing amount of potential and the things he's already showing now. I'd take all that over him being averaging 20 points and showing some sort of increase to appease these people that think he's not having a good year because of scoring. No, I'll take what he's doing this year instead because this is going to mean more scoring later because he's going to be so good. I love that Angry Mexicans got the swarm of bees coming at us. Listen, man, come in and join us anytime. I know that we're going to see y'all again near the end of the season, both games in Charlotte, but don't wait till then. Just come in and hang out with us anytime. And if you want to give us the Hornets perspective on stuff, we always are looking for other voices from other teams to be involved. Like I said, we got Boston fans here. We got Philly fans. We had Brooklyn Nets fans coming in here. We've had Milwaukee fans, Phoenix Suns fans, Laker fans. Every fan nation is welcome to come in here and talk with us. And we appreciate your swarm coming in. We've done this. This is part of the real mascot matchup. If you watch the show from yesterday, there's a swarm of Hornets attacking the Raptor, and it's a cliffhanger. We have to find out what happens tomorrow on the real mascot matchup. And that's what it was looking at coming at him. The Raptors got that swarm of bees or Hornets, because those are bees. Those aren't actually Hornets. But I don't know how you can distinguish a Hornet or a bee on here. I mean, I don't know. Facts. Human is human. That's right, Mike. Human is human, and they just want to keep us divided as much as they can. Troy Henry saying a friend and I are planning on coming to a play game this year. Hopefully they'll make it to that round. Oh, a playoff game this year. Hopefully they'll make it to a round and hope you meet you there, my guy. Dryden, Ontario. You're out in Dryden. Cool. Yeah, definitely. Well, let's hope that we make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure we will. And let's just go from there. Hopefully Troy will be coming to Toronto to Scotiabank Arena for a playoff game this season. That'd be awesome. For real, saying, why doesn't Drake give Pascal a shout out? You mean in a song or something like that? I don't know. He has his favorites around the team. Obviously, he's very close with DeMar, Kyle, and Fred. Like those were his guys that he gave like the special OVO stuff to that came out. And then, in some ways he's very close with Matt and Jack. that, he put them in his video. He put Nick Nurse in his video too. In the last video he put out, he had like a couple of cameos because he was at the game. And DeMar, Jack Armstrong, Matt Devlin, and Nick Nurse were the guys who made the appearances. And then Kevin Durant was also in that video. I don't know. I'm sure that they're cool and everything's fine. I'm sure that there's a level of Drake involved in every Raptors like life, and to a degree. But it's true. It's like, why doesn't he put him in a song or something? My favorite song from last year that dropped the Raptor was Marlon Craft. Marlon Craft had a video that came out last year where he's like said the lyric, underrated like Fred VanVleet. He dropped that in the video, and there was even an image kind of a Fred behind him. And I just love that Fred got recognized by Marlon Craft in his latest album with a lyric talking about how he's underrated. And check that out. Marlon Craft, great hip hop guy. He's amazing. He had a really good last couple of years. He's so good and on point. Just really enjoy Marlon Craft. So check him out. He has a lyric dropped about Fred, which is really good. Fiercely saying, have fun at the game, Monique. Yeah, everybody's going to the game tomorrow. Have fun. And hopefully Nako's coming over to watch the game with me, and we can get loud and rowdy here at my house, and hopefully cheer them on to a victory. All right, we're almost at 3 hours. It's about the standard for a reaction these days. Cowboy saying, if it weren't for Toronto, I would have Colombian, Guyanese, and Trini kids. I love this city and the people here. Big ups to you, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Let's go. Diversity is a strength, and it's always been this way. And like, this is the thing. You want people from all walks of life, different experiences, because that experience is put into the bank, and everybody can help and share because of that learned thing from every walk of life and path. And that Toronto is the epitome of it as a city. There's people in this city that come from every single corner of the world, and that we should be very proud of us being that way. New York City's like this also, but there's a lot of cities that are very not very diverse, and we should be proud of that because it's a true strength and part of the reason why Toronto is one of the best cities in the world. That we have some of the best leaders and most innovative kind of stuff going on here for the whole entire world. I'm not saying leaders as far as our politicians, because they suck, honestly. But there's ingenuity leaders, people that are innovating and doing important special things in all kinds of fields in the city of Toronto. And it's partly because of our strength and diversity. Yeah, I love it. All right, Mike. W Stream, salute the islands. Yes, salute the islands. And Mike, Edmund saying, we're watching the game at Lex's house tomorrow. Let's go. Hey, Edmund, you want to come over and watch the game too? I mean, it's just that I know Nacho for a while. Like, I've known him for like 7 years. And he's an old friend. I mean, if people want to come watch the game with me, actually, I want to talk about this real quick. I'm in the early stages of starting to maybe get a regular place where I'm going to watch basketball games all the time. I'm going to be sick of it just watching here by myself. And I'm thinking about starting to go to the Real Jerk at Girard and Carlaw. That may be the spot, and that you guys we may make a meeting place, and that everybody that wants to watch games with me, we can maybe meet at the Real Jerk at Carlaw and Girard and take that place over as a Raptorsfreak HQ to watch games. I'm all about that. If y'all can make it to that spot, maybe we'll start doing that, because it may be more fun to watch it all together at a public place and something like that. My place is not that big. That's the problem. I would say, hey, everybody come over to my house, but I really do have a shoebox of an apartment. And it's very crowded, even just having 2 people here. So I would invite more people to my house, but in some ways I don't necessarily totally want to do that, because I do kind of want anonymity of where I live exactly. But also, I'm really in early stages of thinking about, I'm going to go to the Real Jerk and maybe start watching games there. And people that want to come there and join me and watch the games with me are more than welcome. We could start having regular viewing games together at that establishment. So if you guys feel like that's not too much of a reach from where you live in the city, and you would like to start coming and watch games with me regularly at the Real Jerk at Girard and Carlaw, well, that may be happening very soon, Edmund. So yeah, I know that you're out west. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach for you, but maybe not. You maybe feel like it's worth it to come over and hang out at Real Jerk with me. So yeah, I think that's the place I'd like to do it, because I really like that it's a Black-owned business, and also that it's an independent. I don't want to start going to a chain or anything like that. And so I think that's important. Monique's saying, Lex, I did say play the bench more yesterday, and Nurse did. Enjoy doing the chapters yet again, Tom. Go Raptors. Congratulations on 3 hours. Thanks, Monique. Yes, it is a feat. I mean, listen, how many hours have I put on this channel in the year and a half that I've been doing this? I mean, it's crazy. It's like if I had flight time in a plane, I'd be having that 10,000 hours, I think, by now. In fact, my YouTube stats were very interesting. When I got the synopsis of all my stats for this channel, they were very weird. And they gave me a bunch of awards for certain things, like streaking with live streams, and then also the amount of hours and the engagement that I've garnered on YouTube is actually pretty impressive in some ways. So, all right, I appreciate that, Monique. Yeah, more bench always, Nick. Continue to play the bench. Don't revert back to overplaying the starters ever again, please. Yes, let's go, guys. All right, let me wrap it up real quick. Just real quick, one more once over on the Hornets and Raptors game from last night. The second one, a much better victory than the first one. Way better job by them. On the other side, let's give a little bit of shine to LaMelo Ball. Sorry. 32 points. There you go, Angry Mexican. I'll give him a little bit of shine. A nice double-double by Mason Plumlee, 16 points, 15 rebounds, 21 points from Scary Terry. He is annoying. He is a baller. He is a very good player. PJ Washington was a mixed bag. He was helping them at times, but also shooting them in the foot with really bad fouls and really dumb stuff happening with him. 5 turnovers from McDaniels. I love seeing that. That's a lot of turnovers by a guy who doesn't really have the ball a lot. They have some good young players off the bench. That Thor kid in particular is very attractive as far as like his possibility for the future. I hate the Martin twin. He's annoying just as much as his brother in Miami. That Richards guy was really all over the place, but he was causing problems. But he also was causing a lot of fouls also, and dumb fouls. Smith is an athlete, genuine athlete, very interesting player, Smith Jr. On our side of the ball, thank you, Pascal Siakam, for being the best player on the court. Scottie Barnes, big time. I wanted you to go for the triple-double. You had 3 more rebounds and assists to go. You would have gotten a triple-double, Scottie. Gary Trent Jr., 6 of 19 from the field, only 2 threes out of 11 attempts, 5 of 5 at the free throw line. Gary, not a bad game, 19 points, just solid. OG, 4 steals, 15 points, 6 of 15, hitting those three threes, really key. Van Vliet, we've already talked a lot about his game last night and just how good he was with 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 11 points. He'll never please the people that hate him. So who gives a shit about what they think anyway? Precious off the bench, 10 points, 4 of 7 shooting, a really key 3, 5 steals. Amazing stat by Precious. Flynn, not a very good game, but 3 assists that I like to see. That at least he was playmaking in some nice ways. KOLOKO was one of the guys who caught a good pass from him and got a really nice dunk. Not as much from KOLOKO as he did in the last 2 games, but still, it's just 6 minutes and just doing a little bit, getting his check in. Juancho, a pretty good game last night. He made all 3 of his free throws, and he made a shot that cut to the basket that was hard to handle. Really impressed with that. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And then Chris Boucher, only 10 minutes, 5 points. Not a very good game by Chris. And probably part of the reason why he didn't play as much in the second half as Precious did in some ways. So good job, Raptors overall, winning a lot of the battles as far as like shooting. They didn't shoot as well, but they won the free throws battle. They won the turnover battle. Those were really the big battles there. And the 905, good job winning their game also. 6-point win over Motor City Cruise. Big time from Reggie Perry, Gabe Brown, and Ryan Hawkins. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Thanks for being here today for the Raptor live stream. I'll be back tomorrow for a preview for the Atlanta Hawks game Saturday night. Let's go, Raptors. Let's get this streak going. Let's keep streaking, baby. Yeah, let's go. Let's get number 4 tomorrow against the Hawks. Don't take this any less seriously, Raptors. Every game matters more than ever because y'all are in a hole and you got to climb out of it and get to a real playoff spot. You will do it. I trust and believe in you. And other people may be sheepish and a little about you guys, but not me. Because I've seen the real Raptors again recently, and I trust and believe in y'all. And I know that y'all figured some stuff out and you're ready to continue to do this. And non-believers, people that are kind of sheepish on y'all, they can go ahead and be like that. But the evidence will be shown more and more that I am exactly right and that we're going to start kicking so much ass right now. Yeah. The real jerk is perfect. Okay, Bradley likes a real jerk for that? Oh, awesome. Evelyn, see you there. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let's go Raptors. Win streaking. Yeah. Well, listen, seriously. You know what? Maybe I'll go there with Nako tomorrow. Maybe when we meet up, we'll go and meet at the Real Jerk. So maybe tomorrow in the preview, I'll think about this and maybe we'll have our first ever Raptor Freak watch along at the Real Jerk tomorrow night for the Atlanta Hawks game. So if you guys are available and you want to come watch the game with Nako the Nacho and I, we'll be at the Real Jerk. All right, let's go ahead and just say that. I need to get out of the house anyway. And I'm sure Gerald would enjoy coming there and we can probably just smoke our weed out in the parking lot, and that's fine. We'll smoke our marijuana outside. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors. Like, comment, subscribe, share, please, if you enjoy my channel. And have a great Friday. Let's have a great Friday night. Be safe, be happy, have a good time. Be careful if you're out there driving with the snow, and just have a great weekend. Let's start it off right. Real Jerk tomorrow for the game with Nako the Nacho and I. You can come and meet us and hang out at the Real Jerk and watch the game with us. Hear what all the stupid shit I say during the game as it happens. It'll be fun. Yeah. All right. Have a good one, y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Yeah.